me not, O gentle Savior. Hear my humble cry, while on others thou art calling. Do not pass me by. Savior, Savior, hear my humble cry, while on others thou art calling. Do not pass me by.
When the trumpet of the Lord shall sound, and time shall be no more, and the morning breaks eternal, bright and fair. When the saved on earth shall gather over on the other shore, and the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. When the roll is called up yonder, 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 I'll be there. Unless you're a fag. On that bright and cloudless morning when the dead in Christ
Welcome to Calvary Baptist. Good to see y'all. Glad you could make it. We've been missing you in church. Good to see you. Glad y'all could be here.
Unless you're a sodomite.
Everybody sing! When the roll is called up yonder, 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 I'll be there.
Unless you're a big old sissy queen homosexual.
Yes, brethren.
Or a dyke.
When the roll is called up yonder, I will be there.
Praise God.
Will you? Well, I'll certainly hope so, because there's only one way to get to that promised land, one way to get to heaven, and that is through our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
I'm Del Shores.
And I'm Emerson Collins, and welcome to our 20th anniversary celebration of Southern Baptist Sissies, presented tonight by the Del Shores Foundation to benefit 25 nonprofit theaters around the country and the inaugural Del Shores Foundation Writer Search.
Oh, I'm already emotional and feelings are happening. Y'all, I'm so excited to bring the Sissies family back together for these theaters and the first Del Shores Foundation program. Last year in lockdown, thanks to you, we raised over $75,000 with the sorted live stream, and our theater partners were so grateful for all of your generosity. So thank you.
And we are so grateful to you for joining us tonight. Now, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or on Twitter, share the broadcast, invite your friends, start a watch party, put the YouTube stream on the TV, and use hashtag Sissies Livestream in your Insta, whatever, wherever you post it.
Oh my God, you're so bossy.
I prefer the term aggressive.
All right, a little history for you. In 1999, I started writing Southern Baptist Sissies right after Matthew Shepard was murdered, and I saw a picture in Newsweek of one of the murderer's apartments and a picture of Jesus on the wall of that apartment. And I started wondering, did those killers, did they learn to hate in those pews just like I did when I heard those sermons, that self-loathing that I felt when I heard that spewing of hate in the name of the Lord? So, y'all, I'd had a lot of therapy at this point, but part of my therapy now was writing, and I started writing. And I started writing Southern Baptist Sissies, and I had no idea what it was at the time. Was it just a long therapy session or perhaps a play?
Well, clearly it ended up more than a little of both for so many of us.
Yes, for me too. And y'all, it was hard to write. So Sorted Lives got the green light. We raised the money. I put it on a shelf. We made Sorted Lives. But after I finished the film, I went back and I finished. I purged, y'all. And the play premiered September of 2000 at the Zephyr Theater in Hollywood. It ran for 10 sold out months. Then in 2002, we did another 6-month run and won the GLAAD Award for Best Production. And in 2006, I revived it in a season of Shores, and that followed with a national tour.
And of course, that's how I came to join the greater Del Shores Sorted Sissies cinematic universe. I starred as Benny the Drag Queen in a production with the Uptown Players in Dallas. Del flew in to see that production and then invited me to be in the Season of Shores revival. So I packed all my crap into my high school cheerleader car. It was one of those Saturns with just the half door, and drove out to Los Angeles the day before Thanksgiving. That national tour was our first time producing together and my first adventure in producing a project and acting in it at the same time.
And Emerson Collins has been bossing me around ever since, and I am so grateful for that. So when we decided to start our own production company, Beard Collins Shores Productions, with our amazing partner, our Beard, Louise Beard, in 2012, we decided that a film of the play, a film of Sissies, would be our very first project, be our perfect first project.
We crowdfunded the entire film through Indiegogo, a testament to how much the play means to so many people and so many of you whose names I already see in the comments tonight who contributed to that. We filmed 4 live performances in 2 days and shot 8 days as a film to create that hybrid stage film experience. We toured festivals, winning 13 awards, 9 audience awards, our favorite, and then opened in theaters in 10 cities. And that's just our experience with it. Go. How many other theaters produced Sissies?
You know, when you asked me that the other day, I just had to start counting, and I contacted the publisher. I got to 40. I verified 40, and I think there are a couple of other ones that I've missed. But y'all, it's really been almost 21 years.
I mean, for tonight, that lockdown year doesn't count, right? We're going with 20.
Oh, God, no. I mean, and of course, during that lockdown, it meant that the foundation just had, like all of us, had to put everything on pause. So tonight, we are so excited that we're going to get back to our mission, finding and developing the next generation of LGBTQ Southern writers.
We partnered with film festivals and these theater companies to help us with the mission of finding outlets for these writers and their work. We have an amazing new executive director you will meet later.
And tonight is about the celebration of the history of Southern Baptist Sissies and the return of live theater. Aren't y'all so excited to get back into those theater seats and see live performances? And performers, aren't you excited to not have to pretend to hear laughter? And we're celebrating the launch of our writer search to support LGBTQ Southern writers.
Yes, and all of your donations tonight are 100% tax deductible. And they will be split 50% to these 25 nonprofit theater partners and 50% to funding the new Del Shores Foundation Writer Search. You can make your donations at delshoresfoundation.org. Now, at the end of the show, tomorrow, all donations through August 31st will go to the fundraiser. So if you're one of those people who's watching it back later, first, hi, you can still donate. Okay, Del, that's the who, the why, and the where. Oh, also, in case y'all were worried, we are not doing a reading tonight.
No,
you all are confused because the ending of Southern Baptist Sissies gets, shall we say, heavy?
Yeah, spoiler alert, just a little bit.
I'm getting there with the banners. And, oh, if you made it here with someone or they pulled you in and you haven't seen the play in LA or the tour in your community or ever seen the movie, you can stream the movie on Amazon, Broadway HD, and Peacock anytime.
That's right. So we have I'm so excited. We have an amazing night planned to share with you. Y'all just hope that the internet works throughout. You know how these live things are. So, you know, as they say on Twitter, thoughts and prayers. We're going to have chats with the entire film cast, including Leslie Jordan and his two Odettes, Ann Walker and Dale Dickey. The movie Sissies are all together again. That includes our great Emerson Collins right here, and Willem, Matthew Scott Montgomery, and Luke McClure.
From every incarnation of the play and the film, Rosemary and Newell Alexander and Joe Pat Ward, my mama, Bobbie EAKES. We've got artistic directors from our theater partners sharing stories and performances from the soundtrack from the incredible Debbie Holiday and Tony winner Levi Kreiis.
And we've got clips from the films. And, you know, during the pandemic, I found all these VHS tapes of the original play productions. My daughter, Rebecca, digitized them. They're a little wonky at times, but there are things that I had forgotten about, never seen. You have never seen them before. Is that it, Emerson? Is there anything else? I'm just so enthusiastic.
It is. Now, some of those clips are a little grainy, but y'all, we're going to have so much fun. Let's get started. Donate early, donate often, donate what you can. And when you donate, hit the social share button to Twitter or Facebook. Tell your friends you donated. Think of it as buying a ticket to this strange night of live stream cabaret reunion. Or if you're sitting on a big old pile of money, you donate a lot and think of it as sponsoring a whole season. Every donation size helps. And if you can't, right now, as we get started, hit that share button, share it across your feed, and enjoy the show.
All right, let's do it. Let's kick it off with the amazing, audacious, that's your hint, Ann Walker on stage in that very first production talking about blowjobs.
I mean, I love Ann Walker and I love blowjobs. Here we go.
No, I like to come here because there's just no judgment with you people. The gays don't seem to judge your behavior like other folks. They just let drunks be drunks, you know? And I don't have to worry about all the lectures trying to pick me up. I see. That's right, you just go ahead on and lie. Shit, you don't think I get offers? I'm sorry. Hell, honey, if my bed could talk, it'd never shut up. You give head like me, word gets out, you know? I had a reputation, a wicked one, and I liked it too. Oh, hell. You think you gays have the blowjob market cornered? Hell, honey, I'm a blowjob up against yours any time and place. Just say the word. I was born without a gag reflex. Need I say more? No, you're ruining buzz.
All right, and now we are to a very exciting portion of the evening. We are going to bring in some of the original sissies, the elder sissies at this point, who originated their roles. Please welcome to our fundraiser tonight, Robert Louis Stephenson, who originated the role of Mark, and Michael Taylor Gray, who originated the role of Benny. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, man. How are you?
Good. How are you?
You're so good. It's so good to see you. I mean, whoever thought that when we had that first reading, when it was like Sissies of Arabia, how long it was, that it would turn into what it did, and you are such a part of that journey, and I thank you both for creating Mark and Benny.
Thank you.
And it almost didn't happen for you, Bobbie. You were what I teach actors to do. You said, I want that role, because I had written, nobody knows this, I don't think it's interesting, I wrote the preacher for you. I wanted this hot, homophobic preacher. And then the person that I wrote Mark for fell out of the project, and you came to me and tell us what happened.
Well, you and I had worked on Sorted Lives prior to Southern Baptist Sissies, and we had I felt a really strong relationship. And I was living in New York at the time that you were writing Southern Baptist Sissies. So periodically you would send me monologues. And you said, when you come back from New York, I'd really love to work with you on this. I have the preacher in mind, and you would come out and preach sermons in the church and then all of a sudden strip and become the go-go dancer in the nightclub. That's what your original intention was. And so that I think you were starting to do rehearsal. You were in the process of finalizing the cast, and like you said, one of the cast members dropped out, and you were really upset. And I immediately said, I would love to read for Mark. And you said, all right, you have till tomorrow afternoon. You said, all right, meet me at Sharon Lane's house. I'm going to have Tate Taylor read with you, who is cast as TJ. I did a couple of the monologues, and then we did a scene, the TJ scene in the church. And then Tate left, and you said, you looked at me and you go, all right, you're 80% there. You got the role.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, and then I immediately flipped and cast Newell as the preacher, and there you go.
Now, it's unfortunate for all of us that the world did not get to see the Bobbie Go-Go Boy, because we need to talk about the original Southern Baptist Sissies poster. Because Bobbie, this poster, I think, might be responsible for 80% of Sissy success, and it's certainly responsible for some of my own self-esteem issues.
Yes, that poster caused a lot of controversy, especially when we hit Dallas. It was like, I always said, the Baptists were ripping it down, and so were the gay boys.
Yeah.
And they were all putting it up in their bedrooms.
Yes. We are all grateful for the ticket sales through the years. But now, Michael, let's talk about Benny. Because I played Benny in my original Dallas production, following in your footsteps. And I think something audiences don't understand is that the hardest thing about Benny is not the work on stage, it's the work off stage. What was it like building the drag journey of Benny through Sissies for you originating it?
Well, you don't get any time. You don't get any rest at all. You were in and out of costume and makeup the entire time, you know. But it was a joy. It really was a pure joy to do that. The biggest challenge was becoming Dolly Parton in 7 minutes. I mean, even Dolly would be like, "How did you do it?" You know. And, thank you, Mac Cosmetics, and and their foundation, which saved me some time. But we had a good crew. We had an excellent young guy backstage that was helping me. Had my bra out there ready to put on. I whipped off my clothes, you know, and had the wig there and helped me with the dress, and had the lashes already glued. I mean, everything had to be set like a template. And you just had to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and do everything in a certain order.
Remember, Michael, how we got in trouble though during previews because we had always marked when you took off the costume and then you had to be the little boy again in the church. I think the first time you were still putting on ripping off the eyelashes as you sang the BIBLE.
I had a nervous breakdown the first time I had to do that monologue, come out of drag, you know, taking off the makeup, saying like just like that. You know, I bet you wonder what went wrong. You know, and then I was so hard on myself, but you were so kind to me, saying it'll come, just trust it.
It was my fault. It was my fault. It taught me so much as a director. You have to run it all. You have to run it all.
But I remember when you were writing it still, I was over at your house, and you were going over that little segment between Leslie and Ann, and she goes, y'all gays are so funny, and y'all smell good too. And I said, oh, y'all know this really great joke. It's this old joke. And I thought, yeah, I get my new cologne. It's called Come to Me because it smelled like Come to You. And Leslie took that joke and gave me a full minute backstage onto my phone. I needed to get ready. Because he can milk it like nobody's business.
All right, well, we have some other guests we want to bring in because as the two of you set the stage for so many of us to follow, these next 3 gentlemen have been incredibly important in the Los Angeles journey of Southern Baptist Sissies. So please welcome Ted Detwiler, who played TJ understudy in the original and then the revival and then the tour and a season of Shores, Tommy Woelfel, who played Andrew, and Scott Presley, who took on the role of Benny in the revival. And of course, you know him as Roger from the Beehive in Sordid Lives, the series, and A Very Sordid Wedding. Hello, gentlemen.
Hey.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Men, I should say. They were boys, now they're men.
That's right.
Old men.
Several of you played this multiple times, particularly Ted and Scott. What did you find changed through the years?
The comfort of all those quick changes Michael was talking about, unbelievable. But just like second nature. That was also was that right after I came out of the closet, my parents do the show, so that was huge.
Yes, that I remember that. I remember that your parents came to see the show and you were so nervous, and I was like, I think they suspect. God, I do.
Yeah, so I think for me, if I just talk about my character and the journey, and as an actor playing the same role for such a long time, it just, in a way, it was just, you kept trying to go deeper, find more meaning, and having that opportunity to do that. I mean, it was incredible to have that long of a run and have to continue to delve deeper into the character. So if that makes sense, like how it evolved over the years, I felt, I don't know if I got better, but that was definitely the journey. So, or my mission to try to get better. I wasn't committing really hard to some of those kisses, and you got on me
early on. Yeah.
So I learned to commit.
I said, be a real actor. Don't mark that.
Take a look at this.
Oh,
look
wow.
at you all. Scott, Tommy, and Ted and Bobbie, those young men.
Yeah.
Caucasian. Who is that?
It makes me just.
Man, I remember that
we
photo.
should just
Like
break
yesterday.
into when the roll is called Up Yonder, I'll be there right now. Let me see that picture.
I grew up singing all the songs.
Some of my actor friends, I'm remembering one in particular, after like 100 or so shows that we had done, he said to me, look, how do you keep doing this? Why do you want to keep doing this show? And there were a couple reasons. The first and foremost for me was the message of the show and how important I felt it was, and how unbelievably well crafted the show was. Del, that's to your honor and to your genius. And then the other reason I loved showing up every night was the family you created and the bond that I felt with all of you. And also thank you for being a part of a show that really touched so many people. I remember people coming up to us after the show and saying that it was the 25th time they've seen the show.
I've never been in a show where people came that many times. And when family would visit or friends would visit or they just had a night free, they would just come to the show.
Yeah. And by the time I arrived in the Shores family, to hear the stories of Michael and Bobbie, what you had done, and to step in with Scott and Ted and Scott, I remember watching Scott do the Benny monologue the first time in a rehearsal and thinking, what am I doing here? Like the brilliance of what I have just watched. It's just so special what each of you have put on the role as you took ownership of it through the years. It's been truly amazing.
Well, let me tell you, when I walked into the Zephyr Theater, that first rehearsal, Newell Alexander took me aside and he says, I hope you're not doing anything for the next year. He says, this is what you've been doing. Don't make any plans.
Oh.
And he was right. And then when Leslie sashayed in, I was like, oh. And I just knew there was something special about the energy in that room that very first day.
But you know what, going back to what you said, Bobbie, and first of all, you're welcome and thank you right back, because the family that we created, it makes me emotional to think about it. It was like you guys had 2 or 3 moms there. You know, you had Ann Walker, or the crazy Ann, I guess, and then you had Rosemary and Newell, who were so maternal and paternal to all of us. And then you guys were everybody's sons. It was just, and then Delta came in, and it was a magical time where I will always point to it as my favorite time of my career.
Well, and Tommy, we just let you sit down there and smile along, but of course Tommy was there for the original production, and like me, is a sissy from Texas. And Tommy is one of the board members of the Del Shores Foundation, which is what we are raising money for tonight, to be able to support Southern LGBTQ writers like Del Shores. Hi, Tommy.
Hello.
Tommy.
Tommy.
I'll tell you what, I can reiterate most of what everybody has already said. It was a truly special experience. I was so grateful to be working with the people I was working with. I had known Del for quite a while before then. I didn't even get to audition for a role in the original run, but I was there every night. I think I was there almost every night of the show for the first run, soaking it all in, taking it, because I knew when I went up there, I did not want to lower the level that had already been established, lower the bar. And sure enough, and I also did one of those things that you probably should never do as a young new actor. My first night up on stage, I invited all my friends. Everybody had to come because I didn't know if I was ever going to do it again.
And then, Tommy, what made you join the board of the foundation?
Well, the Del Shores Foundation is just kind of like, it's a natural extension of Del's work and Del's belief, and my friendship with Del and everyone I've ever met through him, including you, Emerson, and everybody else on the show. And it's giving the opportunity, just like Del did to me, giving the opportunity for someone to hone their craft, to build upon their dreams, and to make their dreams a reality. And I think it's incredible.
Well,
and I'm honored and glad to be.
I had help. I think about Newell and Rosemary Alexander, who were two of my first mentors, who said, "Here, I'm going to take you into the theater of Los Angeles. There are people out there who need our help." And yes, they don't have to be former Baptists or Baptists. We've been welcome the Catholics too.
That's right. And that is what we are raising money for tonight. And thank you, gentlemen, so much for giving of your time. These stamps you have left on these rolls loom large for all of us. We're grateful to your time and your talent for being such an important part of our large extended family.
Jesus, I love you all so much. And thank you.
I love you all too, every one of you.
Same. Thank you, Emerson. Thank you, Del. So good to see you all.
Here's to backsliding Baptists.
Here's to backsliding homosexual former Baptists. Here's to sinners that need a redemption.
No, honey. I'm not a lesbian. I'm an alcoholic.
Well, as for me, I'm just a social drinker. You have a drink? So shall I.
All right, and we know you all are very excited, as are we. We are ready to welcome to our live stream this evening Mr. Preston Peanut Leroy himself, Leslie Jordan.
Hi, thank y'all for having me.
Oh, it's been so long since I've seen you. You've been busy.
Honey, at 66 years of age, I'm working more now than I've ever worked, trotting all over the place. They're doing Fantasy Island, a reboot, down in Puerto Rico. And instead of Ricardo Montalban, it's Rosalind Sanchez, who you may know from The Bold and Beautiful. She's been around a while. She was on one of those housewife, not Desperate House, one of those anyway.
Devious Maids?
Devious Maids. She was on Devious Maids. Now, is that Mark Cherry? Who's Devious Maids?
That was Ava Longoria under all that.
Yes.
Yes.
You.
But anyway, I went down, flew to Puerto Rico, and And I told him before I left, I said, now listen, I'm not going to holler the plane, you know, the plane, boss, the plane. But they said, no, you're not going to play that part. You're going to play a guest of the island. And I show up and I'm kind of like this little con man but I want to get to heaven. I just tell her, I said, that's my fantasy. I want to go to heaven. I'm so scared I'm going to go to hell. She said, well, to tell you the truth, that's where you're probably headed. Seriously. So you're going to have to do this, this, and this. It's a really cute script.
But speaking of going to hell, you were there at the beginning of Sissies.
Oh, he was there before Peanut existed. I was just talking to Emerson about this, how you were at the very first reading at my house, and I had you play Benny. I knew you weren't right for it age-wise, but you played Benny. And afterwards, you pulled me aside in the kitchen. You said, oh, honey, Delford, the people are just going to slice their wrists. You got to add some comedy. And so I went and I wrote Peanut and Odette. I presented it to you, and you called me and you said, well, thanks for stealing every bit of my life.
I took all my stories, but you're going to have to refresh my memory because I don't remember Benny. What part was Benny?
Benny was the drag queen. I own a trailer that Michael Taylor Gray and
Scott Presley and Willem played it in the movie.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So you played the drag queen just in a reading, but yeah. Can you tell everybody about some of those boys that you shared with me that I wasn't supposed to put in the script?
Well, you know, I'm sober 22 years now, and so I can look back on all of it and laugh because it was so pitiful. I'd sit in this bar down on Santa Monica Boulevard. It's right next to Astro Burger.
Oh, I remember.
And Ibiza Nails, which is still there. And I'd sit in there. I don't know, there was something real naughty about drinking in the daytime. And I just loved, so I'd show up about noon, you know, and sit there and drink. And all these boys, back in the day, see, they would prostitute themselves on the boulevard. Now I think it's all by internet.
Do it on the apps, and
they'd stand out there and they'd get hot and tired and come in there, and I'd be sitting there, and there was Traveling Ray. There was one named Traveling Ray. There was
Booyah. There was Booyah.
One named Booyah, which apparently Booyah means rock in African. He was addicted to rock cocaine. You know, they were chipped teeth, tattoos, and dirty fingernails, and thank goodness I passed all that.
Well,
I heard the other day about that guy. There's a guy who I knew kind of was around back then that murdered those two black guys with shooting them up with crystal.
Ed Buck.
And there was an article in the LA Times, and my heart just started going like this because whoever wrote the article described that whole world. You know, it's just, it's no one really knows about it, but,
and that played a big part in Sissies because, you know, even though that was part of your life, these boys, these lost boys that you were looking, and when Odette was searching for her brother. And I just remember you and I going to the dog park because you had a huge influence on a big scene in Sissies. It was a tiny scene, but it was a big scene. And do you remember that when you told me that you needed to connect to the boys?
I don't know. You know, you tell it.
Well,
you tell it so good.
We went to the dog park, and you said, Delford, you need to write something where Peanut connects to one of those boys. And I went back and I wrote the scene with you and Andrew when you said, "Don't become me."
Don't become me.
And I truly believe, Leslie, that's why. I mean, I know you're brilliant in your comedy. Everybody knows your brilliance in comedy, but I think a lot of critics were stunned at how brilliant you were in that dramatic piece. And for all of you who don't know, Leslie won every single award available: the Ovation Award, the Garland Award, the LA Drama Critics Award, the Robbie Award, the LA Weekly Award for the role of Peanut. So
my sister in Tennessee keeps all that. She's got a whole area of all my trophies and everything.
Your trophies.
You know, I'm afraid. I wish I could show you that Emmy.
Well, we're going to talk about it in a second.
I'll show it to you. It's right in there. Bless her heart.
Well, when we get to that in a second, when we talk to Miss Dickey and you,
I'll run in there and get it.
You go
when I won't be missed. She's missed. Her ball fell off. It's just awful what all she's been through. She's rusty.
But also, wait, with the two of you for a second, you know, I think about, like, listen to you telling those real stories from your real life about those boys, and Del, how you put them in the play, and how we all talk about our religious trauma, and thinking about how often that was the case. Kids that were kicked out that ended up homeless, with LGBTQ homeless youth, how many people turn to survival sex work. You know, we found fun comedy in but it's so based in such real trauma of what the church did to so many people like us.
Yeah.
And I think it's wonderful what they've done with the center over there, the youth. They have all kinds of, they're building a whole building there where kids can, if they stay off drugs and they don't do the sex work, then they'll give them an apartment. And the bottom floor is bottom few floors are those young people like that, and then the top floors are elderly LGBTQ LMNOP people who you know are having trouble, and they bond like a grandfather and a grandson. It's just a wonderful thing they're doing.
Yeah.
I
I've
wish
been
I could
thinking of volunteering over there. I really am inspired by that amazing center.
Well, it's our two vulnerable populations, right? Our youngest youth and our eldest elders, you know, who don't have community. But also, there's one really good story we got to tell people, because everyone everywhere knows that you're a comedic genius, as you have often said about other people. But that moment on stage watching every night where you said, "Don't become me," and then watching it in the movie as we shot that scene at the Matcha Theater, and you standing there with Matthew Scott Montgomery and you saying that to him, and then Del, right before the scene, said, "Leslie, I need you to drop that tear."
Yeah.
Tear. And you did.
But he always said to me, he goes, "I can't drop a tear. I'm on Paxil. We can't, I just have to fake it."
You can't. But I thought, what was it? What did I tell you? I thought about.
I went. You did drop that tear, and I was just like, he dropped a tear. And you told me that you went to Florence Ballard's funeral.
I talked about Florence Ballard, who was she was the Supreme, right?
Yeah, that got kicked out.
That got kicked out.
Penniless.
Was penniless and portrayed by Jennifer Hudson. No, Jennifer Hudson played. I'm getting it all mixed up.
Effie, it was kind of the same character.
Kind of the same character.
Yeah, and you said that you imagined Diana Ross, who hadn't spoken to her for years, walking in a white something like a
mink coat,
and you just imagine poor old broke Florence in that coffin, and that tear fell.
And then I read Mary Wales' book. She was the other one, right? Mary.
Yes.
Mary Wales was the other Supreme, and I loved the story where that they were going to do a revival, the Temptations, but it was going to be Motown, not whatever it. That's when it was the Supremes. It was not Diana Ross and the Supremes. So Mary Wells told the other one, if Diane, because they always called her Diane, that was her real name, not Diana, and said, if Diane steps forward, step forward. Don't let her be Diana Ross and the Supremes. So they started, and Diana stepped forward. They stepped forward. She looked, and she stepped forward. And then Richard Pryor hollered at Mary from the wings, "Step on her mane where she can't go forward." Step on her mane where she can't go forward.
Well, so Peanut was amazing, but we also you had some partners in crime on that stage. And
we will get to them a little later on in this evening. But before we let you go for this first part, I just have to say, as a young homosexual who moved out to Los Angeles to be in this play, the first time Del introduced us at the theater, he said, "Leslie, this is Emerson. He's going to be doing Sissies with us." And you turned and looked at me and said, Emerson, nice titties," and walked off. That was it. That was my first interaction with the famous Leslie Jordan. But I also
that's a knock joke.
Yes, it is.
Emerson who? Emerson, nice titties.
But I want to say, you know, as a leader in our community, as someone who was so courageously out from the beginning, what an inspiration you have been to so many of us. This photo was taken at the Zephyr Theater of the three of us, me and you, 4 weeks after I moved to LA. And it holds a place of pride in my heart. Look at the three of us.
Oh my! Look, you got that wig on.
I just
And
look
Del-
like what am I think like?
Just working in the background, getting ready to direct that play.
I think we were telling
skinny
Jackie
now.
O'Donoghue to hang a light over there.
Hey, I'm that skinny now. I think.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
I mean, I've still got my, you know, it looks like my water's about to break, but it's posture. See, I stand like this.
You
If I
look good,
stand up straight.
Leslie. You look good. You look really
All right.
good.
Well,
We're all holding up.
Yes. We will be back with little Leslie a little later on in the show.
You almost said a little. You will be back with little Leslie.
That too.
Cause you know it's a great big world and we are still alive. Yeah, it's a great big world, so baby, come on down.
And now we are incredibly excited to introduce you to a new member of our family, an incredibly important person. He is the new executive director of the Del Shores Foundation, our fearless leader. Please welcome to tonight's broadcast, Allison Bergman.
Yay! Welcome, Allison.
Hello, hello. So good to see your faces.
I know you're usually wheeling and dealing and doing all the things, and we said, no, you have to come be on camera and talk to the people.
I know this time, Allison, you don't have to tell us, you know, the agenda. You don't have to tell the board meeting what's going to happen. We just want to talk about you. So first of all, I want to say we are so honored that you have become a part of the Del Shores Foundation. You are such a perfect fit for us. We love you, and you are doing, as we say in the South, she's doing a bang-up job.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm
And-
just happy to be part of the Sorted family. Let me tell you, it's an honor for me. When I was first approached to come into this organization, I was really curious. I'm like, wow, is that an opportunity to do something to really make a difference with people that are really warm and lovely? And it just sounded so exciting. I thought, how did they know it would be a good fit? How did they know that? And I have to thank our lovely board chair, Stuart Bell, for putting that all together and saying this would be a good fit. And gosh, I just was such a welcome, warm family. And I think, if anything, that's the big message with the whole Del Shores Foundation is building family, building relationships, and having a web of people who are supportive and want to see success and want to see stories get told. I just couldn't be more honored and happy to be joining you guys and having you welcome me into this family. It's just been fantastic.
Well, I love that theme of family, because what the foundation is for me also is a family, but I can go back to the theater where we all have been a part of. That's been a part of our lives, all three of us here, and that's where I had mentors. I had Rosemary and Newell Alexander, who were helped me with my very first play, Cheatin', and Newell was in it, and Rosemary took all the pictures, and Newell built the set, and they told me what to expect, and they told me how, you know, and my mentors Sherry Landrum and Rex Knowles told me how to raise money. They taught me all of these things. So when we formed this, and when Stuart started having this brainchild, I thought, what a great thing to give back to. There's so many amazing LGBTQ plus writers in the South who have stories to tell, like I had as that young guy when I was 26 years old and it all started happening for me. So it is my pleasure and it's my honor to be a part of and to give back through the Del Shores Foundation.
And you know, go ahead.
Well, it's just exciting because, you know, we started this discussion in 2019 and then we stopped with the lockdown to be respectful of how many people needed funds for so many things. And of course, our sorted live stream last year raised $3,000 a piece for 26 of our nonprofit theaters tonight. So we got big shoes to fill tonight, you all.
We do.
But we're finally launching our own first programming, right, Allison?
We are, and I'm so excited. Now, I've been a champion of new works for my whole career. I'm a director and a dramaturg, and I've been developing pieces and working with writers and actors and in theaters in the South. And I have to tell you, it's so exciting to me to come in right now with the beginning of this first program. And it's such a wonderfully pinpointed, laser pointed program that exactly matches the mission of the foundation. And that is this writer search.
Right. And we've talked about theater, but it's also my career evolved from the theater. It all came, we all did. I mean, an offshoot was television and film. And I love that those who have film scripts, screenplays, and those who have TV, web series and short films, that we can also help them.
Yeah, it's tremendous. It's tremendous.
Well, and so the competition is open to LGBTQ plus writers currently living in the South and being Southern, because Del and I, ran away to the coasts, and this is about people making change in their local communities. It's about their identification, supporting these storytellers and telling any story they choose to tell. And the piece I'm most excited about, when Del and I talked about, how we fundraise to make our own things, Del has forged a path at every point to be like, I don't know, we'll figure out how to make this next thing happen. For writers, the hardest piece is, I have a script, now what? So we also have these 3 accompanying grants. Yes, they get cash awards in playwriting, screenplay writing, short film, and web series, but there's a grant that goes with each of those. For playwriting, there's a $10,000 grant to the professional theater that puts on the first production of that play. For short film, $2,000 to the budget of making that short film. And for the screenplay writers, a trip to Los Angeles to meet with production companies so that we can truly help them build their network and get to work onto the stage and the screen.
And so
your donations tonight, your donations tonight help all of that happen. That's how we can do that, through your generous hearts.
That's what we're here today to do. We're here to help our theater partners in the South, and we're here to fund those writers' opportunities, cash grants for them, cash awards, grants for them, opportunities for them. That's what we're creating tonight, is opportunities for these Southern LGBTQ writers. And that's what the organization is about, and that's what we're here tonight to do. Besides celebrating this amazing production of Del's that has changed so many lives and given everybody a sense of healing and hope. And there isn't anybody I've talked to who's ever seen this piece that doesn't use those 2 words, healing and hope. And boy, that doesn't say what this mission is.
Yes, yeah, I love that word so much. I've said it many times. I have it tattooed right here on me. I hate the word hope. And so we want to give a big shout out, right, to our ambassador circle. We have, Allison, how many do we have now?
Yeah, so let me first explain what an ambassador is. So besides giving the monies that are going to help our foundation for the programming for the writer search and help our Southern partners, we also have an opportunity for you to give in a big way by becoming one of our ambassadors, by joining our ambassador circle. And that's not necessarily all through a financial gift. It's also a gift of your time and a gift of your network and becoming part of our family. So for as little as a $25 recurring gift, or a $300 for the year, as little as that, or obviously more if you want to. For as little as that, you can be part of this family. You can get information about our events, about our fundraising events, about our programs, and you can help us spread the word through your network, your social media, and you can become part of the foundation family. We now have 21 ambassadors in our ambassador circle. We literally are growing 3 or 4 every day. We've only been doing the program for maybe a month. That's how this has just been growing. So if you want to be one of our ambassadors too, go visit the Del Shores Foundation website. You'll see the opportunity to donate. You'll see the streaming here. You'll also have another button called Ambassador Circle. Click on that, fill out that form, and you can be one of our ambassadors too. We would love to see some ambassadors today for this program.
And you may have already gotten a letter from the amazing Rosemary Alexander, who is helping us head up this program. And if you're thinking about it, y'all, right now, just click that reply and say, I'm in.
That's right. And if you're a commitment phobe, that's okay. We will take your one-time donations tonight, whether it's $5 to replace a coffee, $10, $15, $20 to replace a cocktail in honor of a ticket for the theater at $25 or $50, or a Broadway show at $200. Every little bit helps. We appreciate your support. And now look, if you went to the bathroom or got a cocktail during this commercial, remember that the entire point of this evening is raising the money for these theaters, for the Writer Search program, and you should feel a little guilty and head on over to the website and donate now.
I love that you just became Lavonda. Now look.
Yes, it is. Yeah, look, I have been to so many of these fundraisers. We've all been to those dinners we've sat at where you start tuning out when that person that's not famous gets on the screen. This is why we do this. This entire night is for this. And Allison, we are so grateful for your leadership.
We are.
Thank you for the ship, the way you're driving the ship, y'all. She has ideas for so many programs for us to grow and expand in the coming years. So we are thrilled. We got to share her with all of you, but we're going to keep her forever.
That's right.
Well, so
great to see you.
For tonight. It's so great to see you. Everybody enjoy this fantastic celebration, this fantastic evening together with all these amazing talents that come around and circle Del and lift him up, and he lifts them up, and that's what we're all here to do, lift each other up. So thank you and enjoy this fantastic show.
Bye. Thank you, Allison.
Bye.
Bye.
And the GLAAD Award goes to... Go for it.
I love this part. Outstanding LA theater production, Southern Baptist Sissies.
I'm Sharon Lane. I'm the producer of Southern Baptist Sissies. I'm from the North, I'm Jewish, and I'm straight. Southern Baptist Sissies has been an amazing adventure. We've come together, our cast and crew, to be a family. And speaking of family, I want to thank my children that are here tonight, our wonderful choreographer, Samantha, and her brother, Matt. And I want to talk about this incredible man, Del Shores. He is brilliant and he is fearless. And he makes you laugh and cry with the same intensity. And it is my honor to have been the producer of this play, but it is my blessing to have him as my friend.
Thank you. Sharon Lane is the best producer and the best friend anyone could ever have. And we are so lucky that there are straight people in our camp. You know, in my career, I've gotten some letters, but I never got as many as I have in the past 8 months throughout my career. And Doug Kelly wrote to me and he said, I thought I was the only person in a boxed pew with no exit. I was there too. I started writing this as therapy for myself. I broke down and cried every day when I wrote it. I would call Sharon and read it, and she said, you have to keep writing. And I did. I didn't know it was a play. I didn't know what it was. But I'm glad that Southern Baptist Sissies gave a lot of people exits out of those pews. Thank you all. Oh.
I know it was going to hit you.
That's hard to come off of. I mean, many of y'all don't know this, but Sharon Lane was my best friend, and this play would not have existed without her encouragement. And we lost Sharon in 2005. She passed away of pancreatic cancer, but what a great tribute to see her. And woo!
And made all of that possible. Also, I have to say, for all of you watching, we're going to talk about her some more later, this woman who made all of this possible. Knowing that Sheryl Lee Ralph was in that clip, y'all, I nearly put on the posters that Sheryl Lee Ralph was appearing in our fundraiser tonight. I love her so much.
Okay, yes, it was like GLAAD is like this amazing gay gala of awards, but having Dina from Dreamgirls and Nellie Olson, Allison presenting the award, it was like, you know, a gay wet dream.
Yes. But also, while he's gone for a minute, can we revisit Leslie?
Oh my God. It's I thought I had memory problems. I was like, we lived this together. I don't remember.
Nothing. Just nothing. Who's Benny? What's happening?
Who's Benny?
He will be back much later in the broadcast with Ann Walker and Del Dickey. He lives not far from me here in West Hollywood, and I always see him driving around in that convertible, and like 60% of the time, I don't think he knows who I am, and he just screams, "Hey, Sissy!" out the convertible as he drives by. I think that's just his catch-all greeting for homosexuals he might know or have worked with.
Or the cast, the cast of Southern Baptist Sissies. Man, you know, there's always that drug they're advertising on CNN for your memory, and I've been thinking to order it. Maybe I'll get him some. So, we are reading your comments as well as we can. I can't answer everything because I'm multitasking here, you know, hosting and watching and all this. And but we're going to read some of them later. And I know that Emerson is putting them up on the screen, and we're going to answer any of your questions later on. Yes.
Yeah, Sissy's questions. We'll get to them a little later. And also, y'all, we are already over $6,000 donated tonight. It's an incredible one. Thank you so much. At the end of the broadcast, we will read out the names of anybody that gave $250 or more, and anybody who joined the Ambassador Circle. Even just since Allison said that, we've already had one. So,
I saw that. And hey, I want to know something because it was a part of Southern Baptist Sissies because, you know, there was that Royal Ambassadors for Christ. Were you an RA? Were you?
I was an RA, but I was a Boy Scout. So to me, RAs was just Boy Scouts light, though it was all a little bit gay.
But do you remember any of the pledge?
As a Royal Ambassador,
I will do my best to become a well-informed, responsible follower of Christ. I will have this was a big one. I will have a Christ-like concern for all people. Oh, and then it's something about carrying the message of Christ around the world. But this is the one that we all broke: to keep myself clean and healthy in mind and body.
Nope. Look, I can either take a shower or have pure thoughts. I cannot do both.
It was a tough order.
All right, y'all. Well, we have got so much more show to get to. Thanks for sticking around. Look, I know some of you are East Coast. If it gets late, don't worry. This will live forever on Facebook and YouTube. You can come back and watch it. Well, we will move us right along to some of the sissies.
I had discovered masturbation. See, my mom had bought me No Strings Attached. You know, NSYNC's Amazing CD. And I realized that when I did that, masturbate, that I was thinking about, well, Lance Bass.
Everybody's tempted, okay? It's our cross to bear. It's God's way of testing us, of seeing how strong we are, how much we really love Him. You deal. You pray. You push it away. You get rid of the feelings. God can take them away.
My mama always taught me to love my daddy, love my mama, to love Elvis.
and most of all, to love Jesus. I think I embraced her teaching with a little too much fervor. See, I have a confession to make. The day I really knew I was in trouble was when I realized that I had a crush on Jesus. And Elvis, the king of the Jews and the king of rock and roll. All my boyfriends have looked a lot like Jesus, or Elvis, or a nice combination of the two. I always thought Elvis could have played Jesus in one of those biblical movies, if he had been a good actor. Maybe Jesus Christ Superstar, because then all he'd have to do was sing. Although, I think he was all boozed and doped up by then and had gotten fat. And we cannot have a fat Jesus. We gotta have a lean, hard-bodied Jesus like the one I had a crush on. The one on the cross in that picture wearing nothing but a loincloth and a crown of thorns. He had sort of a swimmer's build. I mean, come on. Jesus was hot. And now we are so excited to be joined by a number of the artistic and executive directors from the Del Shores Foundation Theater Partners. All of their theaters also did productions of Southern Baptist Sissies. So gentlemen, introduce yourselves. Tell us your theater, your location, and what year you did Sissies. Fuzz?
Hey, I'm Fuzz Rourke. I am with Spotlighters Theater out of Baltimore, Maryland. And we have done Sissies twice. First in 2006, and then most recently in 2016.
Wow. And Jamie?
So Jamie Lawson, I'm with Theater Alliance in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and we've done almost all of your shows, Dale, and we did Sissies in 2008.
And Sandy?
Hi, I'm Sandy Staggs, Proud Mary Theater. We're in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and we did Southern Baptist Sissies in 2018.
Wow. And Ed?
Hi, everyone. I'm Ed Decker. I'm the founder and artistic director of the New Conservatory Theater Center in San Francisco. And we did Southern Baptist Sissies in 2004.
Yeah, one of the early ones.
The early one.
And you know what? I've had the pleasure of being on every one of your stages, and it just thrills me that you're here. And so thank you for producing this work and all my work. But Jamie, I wanted to ask you first, North Carolina, how was it received? Any stories that we need to know about the reception there of Sissies?
It was so well received because so many of us in the audience, you know, in the Bible Belt knew exactly what you were talking about, including myself. It was cathartic to watch it. It was painful to watch it. And of course, humorous. We had all been there. So it was just, especially Benny's speech about the stained glass window, that just resonated still to this day with me. And it was just a beautiful moment.
Oh, Jamie had a connection issue. We'll see if he makes it back. Sandy, tell us about the reaction of your community.
Okay, well, to be honest, this was our first sold-out show. So we had our audience loved it. However, other people not so much, you know, in the community, and not our community, but out in the South here. We got a pastor that wrote an editorial in our local newspaper about the show, even though he didn't see it, and it came out after we closed. But even the title alone was kind of shocking for a lot of people here.
And Fuzz, you did 2 different productions, right?
Right.
What did you find was the difference between doing it the first time and the second? Was there?
I mean, we had initially, when we posted the 06 show that we were doing, and people saw the name, we got a couple of, you know, little jabs and little bits here and there. People who were unsettled by the name. We didn't get that with the second show, but we also did almost an hour and a half open discussion with the community before we opened, about a week out, with the cast and some LGBTQ plus leaders and some faith leaders. And that got picked up by a couple of the media folks. And then we had only planned to do talkbacks on Sunday afternoon, but it ended up that we were doing a discussion after every show.
Oh, I love that you
And-
brought the faith leaders together and the artistic and our LGBT plus community. And I was at the casting of that in your beautiful theater of Sissies, and what a great production you had. I loved it, and you're sort of in the liberal pocket here. You know, everybody from the South. How was it received there? Was it did you get any you know, clapbacks, or was it just warm and fuzzy?
Well, wasn't always warm and fuzzy, but you know, when you all contacted me and said this was the 20th anniversary, I couldn't believe it. I had to go digging back through all of the archives to find that we had done the production 17 years ago, and it's one of the productions in our history, our nearly 40-year history, that I still have audience members, subscribers asking for the revival of. And yeah, to your question, Del, you know, so many folks from the South relocated to San Francisco and to the West Coast and other cities, and so it really resonated, you know, most especially with those individuals that could really relate to, you know, their experience with queerness in the South and religion in, you know, in the South. There wasn't a lot of pushback, but like Fuzz was saying, we had some very robust talkbacks during the run that really sort of centered around, you know, gayness and religion, and that was great for people to be able sort of to air out all of those feelings that they you know, that they had in those experiences. Well,
That's amazing. And, you know, it's amazing to see how wide and how all through the years, but also as our theater partners, you know, who we are benefiting tonight. How are your theaters doing? Jamie, are, you know, we getting back up and running?
We are. We're still performing outside because our new space isn't ready. But people are coming back. They're so ready to get back and experience live theater. It's great.
And they're going to do Sordid Lives and a very sordid wedding in their season.
Yes, in April.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
What about for you, Sandy?
Well, we just started rehearsals last night, in fact, for Sordid Lives. We're doing an outdoor Sordid Lives and an outdoor The Laramie project. Someone else brought that up. So yeah, we're excited. We're fully cast. Half the cast is already off book from last year when we did a virtual production.
That's amazing. And Fuzz, I know you have some challenges up there.
Well, I walked in the theater yesterday for the first time in 15 months. We're just now putting together a season lineup. We've got some exciting things happening, so looking forward to it. It's been an amazing year.
Good. And Ed, now we know y'all did lots of interesting creative things in the pandemic. Are we getting back in the building?
We're getting back in the building. Our first show will come in October. We'll start in October. So now we're ramping up production. We just announced a new season last week, making some you know, some improvements while we've had the opportunity to be shut down in the theaters, and getting everything ready for people to return. And I think people are really anxious to get back to the theater.
I just want to applaud every one of you for keeping that light on the stage on all through this, and we are coming back, and we're going to do what we do best, and that's create and entertain, and sometimes, you know, make people laugh. Some people might get a tear or two. So thank you all for what you do, and for your community and for the theater community.
And of course, thank you to the both of you for standing so steadfast and with such great energy and imagination through all of this as well. It really has buoyed us forward and been a beacon of joy and hope that we will come out the other side of this. So thank you both very much.
It is our pleasure. Thank you for what you do in your communities, for being our partners. We are raising money and happy to support you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Well, I see we have some once, maybe twice a year Christians here today. Darken our door on Easter and around Christmas. You think that's enough to keep your reservation in heaven? Well, I'm going to tell you the truth. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it either, because God is speaking through me here today. Now you can have a part-time job. You can have a part-time hobby. But you cannot have a part-time religion. You cannot be a part-time Christian. You can't mix the carnal, the secular with the spiritual life. You can't worship Jesus, celebrate his resurrection, and then make the Easter bunny more important. Well, these pagan rituals tick me off. They really do. There was no Easter bunny running around Golgotha. There were no eggs hidden behind the thief's feet on the cross. And there was no chocolate-covered bunnies hidden in the tomb.
Mary Magdalene. You know, Mary Magdalene did not have an Easter egg coloring party for the disciples on the night before Christ arose. Let me tell you something else. There were no elves in the manger with baby Jesus.
Amen.
You know, reindeer mingling with the cows and the donkeys. And Santa Claus did not leave gifts for our Savior and put them underneath the Christmas tree. You cannot mix it all up, my brethren. It just does not work like that. Oh, don't get me started on Halloween. I won't.
All right, y'all, we are having such a blast here, but it is time to bring in two important icons who have played their roles in every incarnation of Southern Baptist Sissies for 20 years. Please welcome Newell Alexander, who's always been our preacher, and Rosemary Alexander, who started off all of the mothers.
Amen. Jesus. So good.
When Del first approached me on this with the script, I was so thrilled because I always thought of preachers as kind of mean because I grew up as a Baptist. My granddad was a Baptist minister, so I heard a lot of that crap when I was younger. But I have graduated away from it, and Southern Baptist Sissies helped get rid of a lot of that stuff for me because I was able to spew it out myself. So it was a hell of an experience for me and kind of changed my life a little bit.
You are my favorite preacher there's ever been.
Thank you.
And Newell, I don't know if you remember this, but when I originally cast the play, I had cast Bobbie Stevenson as the hot young preacher.
Yeah.
And then things happened and I started rethinking it, and then I cast Newell and bumped Bobbie over to Mark. But Rosemary has always been the mamas. She has always been the three mothers.
Yes, I was. And if you'll remember, Del, when we first started rehearsing on a manuscript that was about 3 hours of play, I was supposed to be one mother who sort of represented three different sissies. And I didn't have a lot of lines and I had a lot of time between my scenes. So I said, might be fun if I made each character more specific to the mother that I was playing. And you said, sure, give it a try. So the next thing I knew, I'm changing wigs and costumes every 5 minutes and doing 3 different accents and playing 3 different characters. And it was a lot of work, but it was so much fun. And later on, when people did mothers, I got to see them have fun with that. I mean, at one point, Delta Burke did the mothers, and she was hysterical. And I was so glad then that Del had let me and had helped me define those mothers.
Yeah. You inspired me to rewrite the script according to those mothers. Yes, what they became. And one little thing is, you taught Delta Burke how to fold towels.
She did.
Well, it didn't work great, but she did her very best. That was one of the things. It was a scene where I folded a whole load of laundry while I played a scene, and I folded clothes, God knows, forever for a lot of people. So to me, it was just a matter of like dance choreography, which one gets folded first, and it was a great challenge. I have to say, overall, the role of the mothers, you know, for Dell, I always played a bitch on wheels, one way or another. And I understudied Luttrell in Sordid Lives. And so when Dell was casting Sissies, he came to me and he said, I remember what a good job you did as a mother when you were understudying, and I'd like for you to play the mothers in Southern Baptist Sissies. And I was so thrilled to get to play nice women, nice people, even though they're women struggling with something in their lives it's very hard for them to accept. But I got some great rewards because one night after the show, you know, I played Andrew's mother toward the very end of the show. And we walk outside after, and people are there hugging us and thanking us. And this one young man was hanging back, and he finally walked up to me with tears in his eyes, and he said, I was Andrew, and you were my mother. And I just held my arms out and embraced him, and he cried, and I held him, and I thought, okay, this is as good as it gets, because I think this play really helped this young man. And it helped me because all actors want to do something that has meaning, you know, that makes a difference for people.
Yes, I will always say this is the thing I am most proud of. Let's get another member of our family reunion in. Please welcome our composer, Brother Chaffee, Houston, piano playing extraordinaire, Joe Patrick Ward.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, everybody. Look at everybody looking so good. 20 years later, still holding up.
Yes. Salt filter and a little help.
Now, yeah. Go ahead. Emerson.
Yeah,
Go ahead. No,
That's
I
yours.
just wanted to say that, you know, we were talking about the evolution of this play, the evolution of the preacher and then the mothers, but Joe Pat had such a big part in the evolution of this play because we originally didn't have the score from start to finish. And Joe Pat, during rehearsals, just started playing around with that. And it...
Well, and I tell you, and Dell, that's what I'm most proud of in the whole Southern Baptist Sissies experience is the work that I did in those very earliest stages, you know, working with you to construct the entire musical framework, I guess you could call it, of the play from beginning to end. I mean, the music in that production is so integral, and we knew that, you know, you had specific hymns, so we knew there were going to be hymns sung throughout the show. We also knew that there was going to be music in the bar with Peanut and Odette, but the challenge which we found in the rehearsal process was finding ways to make those very disparate scenes segue in a natural way back and forth so that there was like a seamless musical thread throughout the show. I mean, it's really hard to go from a beautiful Baptist hymn into a drunken version of 99 bottles of beer on the wall. You know, it can be very jarring, or it can work beautifully, which I think we did. And I think it worked because those scenes are so dissimilar.
Yes, I do too. And I love the way you just said, and here's the comedy. Bam.
Well, and for those of you watching at home who may have seen the movie or seen the stage, what Joe Pat did is extraordinary because he literally scored the emotional journey of the characters. And as actors on stage, yes, the journey's mostly the same, but it's a little different every night. And he rises and falls with the monologues and with the scenes. And then when we shot the movie, he had to do it for the live shows. When we did the film taping, he had to fake it. And then he went back and put the movie score on top of the live performance.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, and I can tell you the difference. I mean, the doing the live version, the production, because I was in the original production and several revivals afterwards, and my characters, Houston and the very latent Brother Chaffee, were, you know, basically on stage sitting at the piano for almost the whole show. So I have sort of a sixth sense in terms of feeling emotion and echoing those feelings in music. So in the same way that the actors sort of express themselves organically, I always wanted the music to have that same organic quality and just let the music, you know, ride the waves of those moods and those feelings. And I tell you, every sissy that I ever worked with, and there were a lot of them, told me how much the music helped them find those really emotional, sometimes very dark places that they had to go to in their scenes. Doing the film, it was challenging, not so much from a composing standpoint, because I didn't really score a lot of original music for the film version. I orchestrated a lot of pieces, but in terms of original music, there were a few scattered places, and all the music I play in the bar is actually original old trunk songs, we call them, from previous shows of mine. But yeah, the difficult part was sitting at the piano without actually touching any of the keys, because it's film and you have separate dialogue tracks and you have separate music tracks, and the music usually comes at the end. So that was hard for me to sit there and pantomime playing. And it probably sounds easy in theory, but you can't just sit there and, you know, let your hands go wherever they want, because I, as a piano player, especially in those bar scenes, I add a lot of flourishes when I play, especially, you know, like when I'll ping a note to punctuate one of Peanut's jokes, like, you know, blah, 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 on the bass. And in the end, you want to make sure everything matches.
Absolutely. And no, it does not sound easy. Right. But let's get the final members of our movie family, the other mothers who joined Rosemary. Please welcome Ann Walker, who we all know and love, and our dear friend Bobbie Eakes, who played my mama. Bobbie. Hey, Ann Walker. We'll give Bobbie a second to roll on in. But Ann Walker, tell the story of how you came to share the mother.
Well, I'm sorry, my dog is barking. All of a sudden, when I come on, he's barking. He thinks I'm talking to somebody. Anyway, and I am. But Del Shores, I had played Odette in the original play, but he called me one day and he said, listen, I want you to play an old slut in Southern Baptist Sissies. I said, did you write a new part? He said, no, I want you to play Benny's grandmother. Grandmother? And I said, well, yeah, sure, I can do that. I can play an old slut. Apropos of nothing.
Well,
but
actually,
yes,
what you said, the slut part will be easy, but old?
Yes, that's right. That's what he said.
That sounds right. I mean, you were just graduating to playing Willam's grandmother.
Right. But it was a great experience for me to play that other part. And, you know, this play is such a, it speaks to everybody. And we did it one time in Dallas, and people lined up. They lined up to tell us their stories, you know, and it was so gratifying. Like Rosemary said, when you would come out, there would be people crying and people, you know, being very, very moved by everything. So it was really a wonderful experience for me.
I liked it. Bobbie, do we have you? Bueller? She looks gorgeous.
Oh yeah, always.
Oh, looks like Bobbie's having a little technical difficulty, so we will try to get her back. We love you all so much. Thank you so much for being here.
Love you guys. This has been so much fun.
It has.
Yeah.
Really great.
So much
Thanks
fun.
a lot for tuning in.
I just want to say I'm on the board of directors of the Del Shores Foundation, and I am so grateful for the support of everybody who is watching us, has sent a donation or lent their heartfelt support to us. Thank you on behalf of the board and our ambassadors. We do really love you.
Thank y'all.
Thank
Lord,
you.
Yes.
Something has happened. My boy, well, I think he does things that normal boys his age just don't do.
It all started when I noticed that all of my mail order catalogs were missing. The Sears, the JCPenney's, you know.
So you think your boy took them?
I know he took them. I found him in his room with all the pages of the men's underwear section dog-eared.
Oh, my.
See, I was cleaning up not snooping like he says I do, and I saw a trail of ants, and I went and got a can of Raid, and I followed the ants, and they seemed to be nesting inside the dresser somewhere. So I pulled out the drawers, and there laying under the drawers was my Sears catalog and my JCPenney catalog and, well, some other stuff.
What other stuff?
A Playgirl magazine, a bottle of baby oil, and some stuck together hand towels, and that is where the ants were coming from.
But of course, it would not be Adele Shore's evening and extravaganza without a message and song. But before we let her do that, we want to bring into the show someone so close to our heart, a brilliantly talented singer, songwriter, rock star, dance diva, Billboard chart-topping actress, performer, producer. Please welcome Debbie Holiday. Hi, Debbie.
Hello. And you forgot amazing friend. We love you so much, Debbie. I'm so glad you're here for this tonight. And I thought it would be fun to tell everybody the cliff notes, the real fast version of how we met. So thank you, Levi Kreiss, who invited me to a concert one night, and he was opening, and then there were several other singers, and I was just gonna be nice, watch him and leave, and he chased after me. He goes, "You have to see the next singer." And I said, "Oh, I got to go. I got to go." He said, "Just one song." I stayed for Debbie Holiday's entire set, stalked her afterwards into her dressing room and said, "I'm writing a new play called The Trials and Tribulations of a Trailer Trash Housewife, and you have to be in it." And she said,
I'm not an actress.
And I said, "Oh, yes, you are." And so I invited Debbie. I don't know if you remember this, Debbie, but I invited you to see Southern Baptist Sissies because she had no idea who I was. And I had to convince her, I'm a legit playwright. I've got to.
I remember you saying that. No, I'm a real, and you said it though with such awesome, wonderful confidence. You didn't say it quick and hurried like that. It was like, "Oh, and by the way, I'm a real playwright."
Yes.
You got black on it. You were like, "Hey, so you know, girl."
And so I invited you and your then husband to the play, and I remember you came in like you sliding in about 1 minute till 8, and we were oversold. And I said, "I'm so sorry, Debbie, but you're gonna have to sit on stage in the pews." And y'all who do not know Debbie, she cries very easily, and so she was a mess during the play, and
luckily, everyone in the play got to watch me weep. It was wonderful.
and that was that became that was the beginning of our journey. And I never auditioned anybody else for Trailer Trash Housewife. She won awards for that, and then we came full circle, coming back to Sissies years later for the film. She was a huge part of the music of the film.
Yeah, those of you, of course you see all of Debbie's music and her performances everywhere, but she's a full-on producer and engineer because we have to do it all sometimes. And when we called Debbie and said, "We want Willem to do these 3 songs and sing them live, but of course we can't afford to pay for like the real tracks," and she said, "I can make the tracks," and full-on produced and made the entire tracks for all 3 songs and recorded Willem's vocals in her studio to help us make this movie happen.
I think she said, "What's your budget?" And we said $5.35, and she said, "I'll do it."
I'm in. I'm in. It's Adele Shore's production. I'm in.
Well,
yeah, it's and every time you do something like that, you learn something about whether it's my own abilities or things you want to change about your own studio, and just the experience of creating with others is priceless. So.
Well, we are so grateful. I mean, that is such a huge, important part of this piece. We thank you for always sharing your gifts and your music with us. And of course, for being an honorary board member in the Del Shores Foundation and showing up for our fundraiser tonight.
Yes.
I'm excited.
And so also, when we were in post, Emerson, and we were looking for that music, we both like looked at each other and said, "Let's call Debbie. We need to use Dive." And I want you to, Debbie's going to perform for us tonight. And I want you to really listen to these lyrics because they so apply to this movie. I mean, we've all heard them in the you know, in that dance genre. But if you really, you know, break it down, it's 4 a.m. and I hate my life, and you know, I'm not going to butcher your lyrics, but they're fantastic.
I still sit and think about like that, the phase of my life where that was the case. It's 4 a.m. and you hate your life. Alone Again. I mean, like how much it speaks to so many of us in your music and the genius of what you do and how perfectly it fits with the message of this piece.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's been one of my favorite songs, that and Joyful Sound, to sing to audiences, because you know, when you're on stage, you can look in the eyes of people and you see, you know, some people are there to party and that's fantastic. But occasionally, you know, every crowd has those 1 to more people that are looking at you and they're hearing the lyrics and it's making them think, oh yeah, I am in charge of me. Mm-hmm. I get to decide what my destiny is. Mm-hmm. I get to decide to get up in the morning and write a new story. And that's the best part of music, is that exchange.
Yes. Well, that said, would you please grace us with a message in song?
Yes, and everybody dive on in.
I mean, if you really, really, really want me to.
All right, well, we're going to send Debbie off to get ready. And I tell you what, it is such a joy, you know, now that she's off preparing in the studio, just what her voice does and what it does with lyrics. It's so special.
She is one of those artists. If you have not seen her live, you must. I just was in Provincetown with her. It is an electric, it is spiritual, it's a crazy, crazy experience.
And of course, we should take this commercial opportunity to say, you can now once again enjoy Debbie Holiday, the actress, as the blues singer in Blues for Willadine, because it is now once again available on iTunes and Amazon Prime, and you should go see her electric film, yes, acting and singing performance.
Absolutely.
All right, and without further ado, please enjoy Debbie Holiday and Dive.
I am so very honored to be involved with the Del Shores Foundation, doing good things on the planet. Welcome to Debbie's Day, my own disco. It's fine, but you hate your life. I'm not again, just you and too much time. If only you would know that you're the God in your life. It's rain again, no stop tonight. You tell yourself you need a satellite. Drive away, until you shine. 'Cause you know it's a great big world and we are still alive. Yeah, it's a great big world, so baby, come on, dive on in. Dive on in with me. You're gonna see it, it don't feel right. You're trying again just to close your eyes, but what you need to know is you are the keeper of your own life. Yes, you are. Slipping away, now what's your name? Too much broken glass from your broken cage. It's calling you down in shade. But hey, it's a great big world and we are still alive. Yeah, it's a great big world, so baby, come on, dive on in, dive on in with me, dive on in my love, dive on in with me. Come on, here we go. We are still alive. It's a great big world. A great big baby. Come on and dive on in with me. Yeah. It's a great big world. A great big world.
always believe in yourself and your dreams.
We are still alive. We are still alive. We are still alive. We are still. So dive on in.
Be safe. Believe in yourself.
Yeah. I like clapping so loud here in my house. Oh, that was
absolutely
great.
He is so great.
Like to sing live like that in your house? How is that even possible?
I know.
Okay. Y'all, if that's not enough to get out your credit cards and do your thing and donate to all these theaters and to the Del Shores Foundation, please, please. Thank you. And there's so many of you who have. Thank you so much for your donation so far. And we're going to give you a little bit of an incentive. Because I saw a lot of people, this is how it happened. I saw a lot of people donating 3209. And yeah, if you don't know what 3209 is, somebody in the chat room explain to them. We have a bunch of masks from the Del Shores Foundation. Got a box of them here. If anybody wants to donate 3209 or above, you will get one of these masks. Now I'm going to stand up to show it. This is we just saw Ann Walker.
This is real cute. Eating that chicken
Look
leg.
at that. You know, just it could also be a bandana. It could
you could
also be
do it as a hair tie.
and then we have, you saw Mr. Leslie Jordan. He's going to be back in a minute. Okay, we have this mask. Yes, all you have to do 3209 or above. And then I think this one, Emerson, could be like used as one of your Speedos.
Yes, that's a little too much fabric for me personally, but I could probably cut it down.
Then we just saw Newell Alexander, shooter Wardale, shooter in the head. We have this mask. And then we have the Sordid Lives one. And finally, we have one that says, "This is for you brave folks." Fuck me, Earl. Okay, so
you look great wearing that to the Cracker Barrel.
Yes, wear that to the First Baptist Church of Birmingham, y'all, on Sunday. So if anybody wants a mask, give us 3209 or above, and we will get your address and send them all out.
And don't worry, we have the full list of everybody who's already donated, but every donation that and above, we'll send you a mask, and you can send us back photos of you figuring out how you decided to wear it around town. We didn't talk about this, but she is here. Kathy O'Donohue is the lighting designer for film and every stage production. She went with us on tour for all of Southern Baptist Sissies. Do you want to share about her?
I love you so much, Kathy. I remember, I think it was when we were doing Southern Baptist Sissies, and I was so angry at Kathy. And I was like, where is she? Where is she? This was for one of the plays. Where is she? We couldn't get her on her cell phone. And finally she comes dragging in. She had been locked in an attic at some theater across town trying to pilfer some lights for me, and I felt just awful. I'm so sorry, Kathy. I got upset at you for trying to get me some good lighting. Locked in an attic.
That is not what I thought you were going to start. I thought you were going to start with, she's just a genius. She is
a genius. You know what I've always said, and now I'll get to the genius. I always tell a funny story. Here's the thing about Kathy O'Donohue. I remember that when I first, she was recommended to me. She works like I do. She sees it and she starts putting it together, and it's a process with her. And I think I can't remember how many shows that she did. Trailer Trash, Southern Baptist Sissies, Revivals, all of them. Yes, like you said, went on tour with us. And as much of the music was so important, the lighting in the show was so beautiful. And if you want to see how beautiful Kathy O'Donohue's work is, just look at the movie and see that gorgeous lighting that she gave you actors and my play.
We love you, Kathy. But speaking of that tour where Kathy ran the light board live, just a bonkers thing to do. Delta Burke also went on that tour with us. You know, she dropped in and did a cameo section in the season of Shores. Look at Delta Burke and Newell Alexander.
Oh,
aren't they so cute?
She, you know, and Delta Burke had never done a play. This was before she did Thoroughly Modern Millie on Broadway and Still Magnolias on Broadway. This was her theater debut, and she took that break a leg to heart. In the, I think the first day of rehearsal, she fell on the steps when she was going up to get that note, put that note in Andrew's loft, and broke her ankle.
Yes.
We delayed her coming into the play for about a week, and then we wrote in a boot. She wore a boot and did the play.
Yes. Well, and my favorite too, because you know, while I was playing Benny, she and I would get dressed. The Zephyrs Theater, y'all, is a 99-seat theater. And our changing room for the quick changes in the show was just the back patio of the theater. So it was me and Delta Burke for this Southern Baptist Sissy changing clothes together out in this, like, just exposed to the chicken wire fence. And on that tour, as a publicity event in every city, we celebrated Delta Burke's 50th birthday party in every city we went to because we knew we could get homos out to the bar to buy tickets.
Remember that band brought a pig to San Diego, wasn't it? Brought a pig. She said, I wasn't all that fond of working with that pig. I'm scared.
First thing she ever said to me, she sat in our rehearsal after watching it go, and she's sitting in that pew, and we sang the little hymn, and she looked at me and said, you have the voice of an angel. And I said, Delta Burke, I will remember that for every day of my life.
Okay, one last one, because that was in those pews. We had to, like, Debbie Holiday had to sit in those pews. Do you remember that time that audience member realized Delta Burke was in front of him? And as the lights were going down, he just, you know, where you could hear him, he said, I loved you in Designing Women. And she turned around and she said, thank you, hon. I got to do this play. So, y'all, as many of you know who have seen the play, I wrote a lot of monologues. All the sissies had a couple of monologues. Odette had a monologue, and then Leslie Jordan had a monologue, and Preacher, of course, had the Easter Bunny monologue. But there were lots of monologues that were cut. And the final night of the play, I had a lot of the actors perform the monologues. Bobbie Stevenson did one. Del Dickey did one. And then I wrote a special one for Joe Patrick Ward. So here's Joe Patrick Ward in a monologue as Brother Chaffee that final night.
Joe Pat's acting performance.
Yes, he begged for a monologue. Do we have this clip? Oh, here.
You know, another part of this show that was so important and which gave it a lot of the heart was what this man right here did, Joe Pat Ward. So many nights that we did the show, but he designed this. He was our musical director, and so he scored this play. And sometimes when I marvel at your work, and I'm so grateful. And he just was so upset though the entire run that he didn't have a monologue. He and I collaborated on this one. I told him, okay, the last night I'm gonna let you go. Joe Pat, this is your shot. All right. I am not latent.
All right, and now we are very excited to welcome another of our theater partners for the foundation, but they are a church who did a production of Sissies. Please welcome the Resurrection Metropolitan Community Church, Reverend Troy and Van English. Hi, guys.
Hey, good to be with you.
So good to see you. I love this production so much. I loved that you did it. And thank you for being with us tonight to celebrate Sissies. I wanted to know, having grown up in the church like I did, what was that business meeting like when y'all decided to do this?
We didn't really have a business meeting. we had a meeting with the pastor, and who was Troy. And Troy is a show queen. So when it's anything theatrical, he's like usually, yes, absolutely. And we had done Sorted Lives here. Right. So it felt like a natural progression to do Southern Baptist Sissies next. And so we just, a natural ensemble of players just kind of fell into place.
And Van, you played the preacher, correct?
I did play Preacher Riley.
What was that like doing this bigoted sermon at your church and your journey of the pastor?
Well, it was like this. See, I grew up in a little town not unlike Winters, Texas, in a church not unlike Calvary Baptist. And my daddy was just hell-bent and determined that I was going to be a preacher and a gospel singer. It was like every time I was on the stage doing anything, he'd be, well, that's good, but I still want you to be a gospel singer and I want you to be a preacher. He named me after 2 preachers. So I just rebelled against that whole notion. And then when this opportunity came along to relive the playbook of my childhood from my own church, I thought, all right, this is my opportunity for some redemption here and please my daddy's soul. I'm preaching, Daddy, and I'm leading the hymns coming into the Calvary Baptist Church.
And
I get to talk about that merry-go-round of sin and that tilt-a-whirl of lust.
That's right. When he said you should have been a preacher, he should have been more specific.
You know, some of them lines were not that hard to memorize because I had heard them since I was right out of the womb, you know.
As have I. But I love that the way you played that role was that you believed him, and I thought that's what I loved about the preacher, is that he really was a good pastor in his own mind. He was a loving pastor, but there was misguided. You know?
Well, and speaking of that, Reverend Troy, you know, what is that like in your church and dealing with people who experience this, just like Van talked about?
So he is one of many people whose story is about the church who has rejected them. And so that play is very healing for many. The actors themselves, the main actors of the show, all had healing in their lives from performing those parts and revisiting the places in their childhood that had been hard for them and difficult for them. And our congregation itself has many people who've come a long way, but they can remember this. They can remember this very clearly. And even today, Dell, it is still so relevant. We still have people show up on our doorstep who've been kicked out of their churches, been kicked out of their homes, or are not out to anyone. And so they're still in those struggles and those journeys that the play speaks so clearly to.
We still all the time, still who have seen the movie or a version of the play.
Yeah. And we're in Texas, and we're in Houston in Texas. And so they escape from all these places around and try and get to Houston. And it's just a hard journey for people, many people still today.
Well, I'm from Houston originally. I grew up in Spring. I know your world, and we're incredibly grateful for the work you do to make a home for LGBTQ people of faith. We thank you for being our partner in the foundation.
Yes.
Well, you are so welcome. I still, it was one of my favorite productions we've done. When our choir director was one of those characters and belted out some of those songs, it was just like startling. And I just loved the way the whole thing happened. And Dell, I was so happy you could be with us, that you got to be here.
And I want to say one last thing. You said a word that I hear the most from anybody that contacts me or testifies to me about their experience with Sissies, and that's the word healing. And it was that for me too.
Yes.
Thank you all so much for being with us tonight.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
hate this. I just hate it. That awful feeling after. It's wrong. I want to live my life for Jesus. I gotta go.
No,
let go of me. Let go of me.
TJ, please. I know you feel it too. You're just scared. I'm scared too.
We have to love girls, Mark. We can't kiss. We can't love each other. We just can't love. Not like that. It's wrong.
How can love be wrong?
Because God says it is. That kind is wrong. It says so in the Bible.
Well, then I think that God's wrong.
Shut up.
Because I
just
know
shut
how
up.
I
It's
feel,
Satan.
and I know I
it's
can't
the
help
demon,
it.
and
I
he's
love
making
you.
us have these
No,
feelings.
TJ,
It's over. It's
please,
over. That stuff is over. Stay away from me.
All right, and now we are to a section that's very exciting for me to welcome my fellow sissies from the movie play in the theater on film. Please welcome Matthew Scott Montgomery, who played Andrew, Luke McClure, who played TJ, and Willam Belli, who played. Willam, do you know who you played?
This one is like a Brittany, Whitney. It's an E name.
So close.
Penny. Penny. That's it.
Thank you all for being
trailer.
Yes.
It wasn't on my trailer door. I don't remember.
You look great. Thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedules. All of you as busy working actors. Willam's in London doing Death Drop Play, a Dragatha Christie murder mystery song and dance, right?
Yeah, Poop Fest.
Luke McClure just did A Warrior Soul as your film you worked on this summer.
Yep, that's right.
And Matthew Scott Montgomery has a new streaming series coming to Peacock very soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Matthew?
What's up?
What's it called, Matthew Scott?
It's called Unidentified.
Yeah.
It's out really soon. Yeah.
And I like Matthew coming for Willam's beat a little bit today.
Yeah, I'm working a secret YouTube gig this week, so I just got through glam. I'm pausing to this, and then I head to set. Yeah.
You're so NB.
Yeah, a little bit. Thank you.
You know what? I'm so proud that y'all didn't come into this reunion embarrassing me not working. You're all working, and it's so fantastic. So it's great to have the four sissies from the film of the play back together again. And for me, I just want to say that it was a dream cast across the board, but these sissies were so special, and you mostly got along. And you got along. Everybody,
Yeah.
One conflict on the set, except in the play, and it was crazy performances from each and every one of you. So I appreciate that we got to document this play and some of my journey with you incorporating and being these beautiful characters.
And nobody did big open auditions. Matthew and Luke came from
Yellow, my play Yellow. They both auditioned. It's so funny. I remember their audition so well in Yellow because they auditioned together, and I go, well, that's it. I'm done. And then Emerson, tell the story about how Willam came into our heads for this.
Yeah, so I originally played Benny the drag queen when I moved to LA to be in the play, and when we went to the movie, it was like, that's not right. When Del and I switched it to Mark, and we said, who could we get that fits this, that's a drag queen, that's more famous than the rest of us, that we could use to do this. And I called him one day and said,
no.
Unavailable. I called Del and said, I have an idea. And he said, I do too. And we had both thought of Willam completely separate from each other.
It was so funny how I remember that moment because I was driving up by Yamashiro up to my house, and I remember I said, "Let me go first." Emerson goes, "No, let me go first." Willam Belli, and I go, "That's who I want." So we made the call. I had actually taught Willam everything in a very brief workshop, and I was so impressed with the acting. I mean, because we all knew Willam as this personality and this bitchy queen. So it was a love fest for all of us, for every single person here on set.
And Willam, it was really amazing what you did for the movie. I think some people watch it and don't realize you recorded all of the vocals that you then lip synced to.
Yeah, and then my eyes bled when we did 8 shows in a row. Remember that? Because we got in drag, out of drag, in drag, out of drag, in drag, out of drag for one show, and then we did that 3 more times, and my eyes started to bleed. On the 3rd day, her eyes bled.
Your own biblical plague.
But you rarely complain, and I also remember, Willem, the reality that hit you while we were rehearsing of those monologues. You go, shit.
Yes.
But you all got them. It was that I loved again the performances, the monologues, just fantastic.
And Luke, of course, is French, which many people may not know. So tell us about your adventure making TJ.
Yeah, I mean, it was an experience. I mean, I knew after working with Del on Yellow, I knew that the words were there, the story was there, the character work was there, and it wasn't going to take a lot to, you know, bring it to life because the words are already so strong and powerful. So most of the work is already done for you. But I went to Baptist church services in Los Angeles. I found some Sunday services that I crashed, sat in the back, felt like a complete fraud, but was able to kind of get a sense of what the ritual felt like. And then I remember binging YouTube and watching hours and hours of sermons of, like, you know, southern preachers giving their sermons. And then I remember borrowing a Bible from Del. I don't know if you remember that, Del. You lent me one of your Bibles, and I remember I would sit in the back and like just read passages from the Bible. And then I just remember talking to you guys a lot just about your own experiences. You know, I mean, I felt like I was close to it through you guys and what you had all been through to some degree or another. And then, you know, finally when it came to it, just trusting it and trusting that the words were there and that the story was there and letting it rip, you know? Yeah.
And that Del did not exaggerate in those sermons.
No.
Yeah, like you were shocked. I think you were shocked when you went and saw, especially on YouTube, some of those vile sermons that Emerson and Matthew Scott grew up with. I mean, that you were in those pews, right, Matthew Scott? I mean,
I was, yeah. I mean, I was born and pretty much grew up all in North Carolina. So, I mean, when I was doing Yellow was my first big job. I just moved to LA, and I remember after doing that show for a few months, Del, you had mentioned, like, I think one day I might do a movie version of SISSIES, and I think, you know, you should play Andrew. And I was like, I wasn't ready at that point. And then like a couple years later, when it like came to fruition, I think I was finally ready. I had been far away enough from the South, from the East Coast to process it. And as a writer, Del, I mean, like the roadmap was there for like the work that we got to do. You know, it was such a gift to get the experience of rehearsing it as a play in front of a live audience and then to actually shoot it. I think my first day of shooting was the scene in the church. So like I kind of like went straight, and my last day of shooting was the monologue. So I kind of like, my shooting experience was like bookending these really like emotionally intense scenes, but I felt so supported by everybody. I mean, Luke and I were so close from bonding for Yellow. I think I've kissed you more than any other person on the planet, Luke, to be honest, because we did every single show together, and it was like hundreds of shows or whatever it was. And then Willem and I feel like we bonded because we kind of like got dressed in the same kind of corner of the back of that theater. I remember you showing me tucking, and the amount of I revere drag queens to begin with, but like and revered Willem before the process, but getting to know him as an actor and seeing firsthand everything that you do, I was even more blown away. I have so much respect for you as a person, an actor, and a performer. It was just an all-around positive experience.
There was a custodian on staff at the theater who was also blown away.
Yeah.
There was also, do you remember how Willem's Louboutin shoes got thrown away and we didn't know it well enough? And here I am, the producer and star of this movie, and I climbed fully in a dumpster because our budget couldn't afford to replace those $800 shoes.
Yeah. We didn't find them, did we?
Did you find them?
No, you did.
We did find them in the budget eventually.
Yes.
So don't say I never gave you anything, Willem. I bought you a pair of shoes.
But wait, I want to know something really quick. Luke, you got to kiss Matthew Scott many times in Yellow and many times Emerson in Southern Baptist Sissies. Who's the best kisser?
Oh, I can't divulge that kind of information. Both excellent kissers, as I recall.
Did you ever kiss Willem backstage just once, just to
There
practice?
was no, unfortunately, did not get
Southern Baptist Sissies 2. There's still an opportunity.
in the sequel, TJ 10 years later.
And Matthew, really quick, do you remember Andrew Christian was our underwear sponsor, and we all got to enjoy the stripper moment. But Matthew, do you remember what happened the first time you put on a pair of white Andrew Christian?
I don't. What happened?
This is my dick. This is what it looks like. He came out and said that in these white underwear that I was just like, who knew?
I was a little bit like,
I'm a big fan of the elephant sanctuaries on Instagram. Watch the elephants all day throw mud. And honey, that thing that could have probably gone into the dumpster, clawed out my Louboutin, and then pulled it out.
Well, thank you, Will. I mean, sometimes the live audience got to see a little bit more than was in the movie, depending.
Yes.
So those audiences were blessed.
I know. I'm thinking we should have left it in the cut because we probably
It's somewhere, right? Donna has to put it somewhere.
We would have had to switch to CinemaScope.
And also, Luke and that big old beautiful booty and my flat ass, that would have been a much great addition.
Willem, you didn't get naked in this movie and play, did you? You're the only one.
Only the 8 times I had to change my clothes.
Oh, that's true. Of course you did. Yeah.
But Willem did that whole makeup, out of makeup, boy clothes, and standing in front of the altar singing with y'all.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With that monologue.
I did.
Yeah, MVP.
Remembering it now as we speak.
That was a lot of work. And I was like mailing merchandise during the breaks in the lobby.
Yes. It really boils down to you hadn't quite read the schedule as thoroughly as everyone else, so we sort of hoodwinked you into doing 4 performances for audiences and 8 days of film shooting, and we were already into it, and it was too late to say no.
Yeah, but it was fun.
Thank you all so much. Obviously, we love you all dearly. You're some of my closest friends. Your contributions to this are invaluable, and the audiences continue to tell us how much they love your work. So thank you for joining us tonight.
I love you too, Elijah. Thank you so much.
Well, seriously, not only how much they love your work, but how much this movie has healed some hearts and changed some lives. So you contributed to that. So I appreciate that so much.
You're my home.
We love you.
Bye, Matthew. Bye, Del. Bye, Emerson.
Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.
Something wrong with Mrs. Lerner? Does she have cancer?
No, it's worse. I found out she's Jewish.
Well, that is worse. They rejected the Messiah, the Son of God, their entire people. So tragic. So sad.
But Mrs. Lerner's just so nice. She's the best teacher I ever had.
Well, nice doesn't get you to heaven. Accepting Jesus as your personal savior gets you to heaven. You know, one year we celebrated Hanukkah. Our entire church did. Well, you were too little to remember. It was during our Win a Jew to Jesus campaign. Oh, we thought we could lure Jews to the church if we celebrated some of their customs. And you know what? Mrs. Lerner may accept Jesus yet. The Lord works in mysterious ways. He might just speak right to her and she'll become a Baptist.
Oh, hold on. I think that we got the tech worked out and we have Bobbie EAKES back.
Oh,
I'm back.
Hold your breaths, y'all. You know, that happens when we're doing these things. Bobbie, while you were gone, I was thinking about our journey together and how long it's been since we've known each other. And it was a long time that we knew each other before we actually worked together.
That's true.
I worked with your husband before I worked with you. But I remember the day you got to Bold and the Beautiful. That's how far back I go with you.
What did I do? What makes you remember that day?
I remember we were having a little party over at David Cowgill's and Jackie, and I said, we got out of the car at the same time, and I said, how are you? How did it go? And you go, well, I'm feeling rather bold and beautiful.
Oh.
I remember you saying that. So, and then it was not until Sordid Lives, the series, and then I sort of typecast you as a soap opera star.
Yeah. Well, and I remember you sort of used a variation of my name, not really my name.
That's right.
In
Sordid Lives, Bobbie.
Sordid Lives, the place.
Yeah.
And then we finally got you into Sissies to play my mama.
I know it, Mark's mother. I didn't get a real character name, but that's how much I wanted to do this.
I think it was Mabel or something.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Put that on IMDb.
Yes, Mabel.
In parentheses.
But I loved you in the role, Bobbie. You just sort of epitomized all those sweet Southern Christian women that I grew up with, and my own mother to a degree, and I just loved your portrayal of her.
Okay, you mean in the play I epitomized it?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Yes, in the play.
No, but I remember you weren't quite sure until one day during rehearsal I came out and my hair was just the right size.
Yes.
I kept trying to tease it and tease it and tease it and get it bigger and bigger, and then finally you said, that's it. And you were also really concerned with how I folded the clothes.
Oh my gosh, the time on that laundry.
But now I realize why, because Rosemary, she had it down. You know, I remembered her saying that about when she was playing all the mothers.
Right.
And how important it was, because it really, you know, it is hard to do, you know, to think of what you're doing and act and then fold those clothes at the right time. So
it just this has to look flawless. I remember we were talking about it earlier that Rosemary literally had to train Delta Burke.
Yeah.
Because Delta didn't know how to fold clothes.
Oh.
It was a new skill. But Bobbie, you know, being from the South and, you know, that sort of, what did that feel like putting together that, you know, she's so seemingly sweet, right? She's saying these things that she thinks are with love, but are so terrible.
Yeah, yeah. And it's, you know, I've lived all over the place because I'm not just from the South, but my mother's from New York, and believe me, there are people like that everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There really are. But that Southern, we joke about it here. It's that bless her heart thing, you know. And but the way I looked at Mark's mother was she really did believe those things.
Yes.
That's why she was able to say them. She wasn't being duplicitous. She really did believe those things, and she was taught to believe those things. And until she realized how wrong she was, that's when she really breaks down about it all, because she really wasn't trying to hurt anybody, but she did.
But what I loved about your portrayal, and I talk to actors about this all the time, is you did her with no judgment on the character. Bobbie EAKES did not judge Mark's mother. You just played her. And when you played her for real that way, it really resonated with a lot of Southern boys, well, not just Southern, as you said, a lot of people who grew up in the church and that rhetoric that they heard.
Well, and because we talk about the bigots all the time, they're easy to see and easy to identify, but so much more of the damage for so many of us and the stories we hear is the damage that was done by people who thought they were expressing love. You know, that love was in our sin.
That's what's so beautiful about Del's play. I mean, Del, you know, I've seen everything you've done, but this piece, I remember seeing it for the first time, and I was sobbing along with everybody else in the audience. But I laughed at a lot of your plays, and I got so much out of them, but this one just broke my heart. It just broke my heart, because I know a lot of young people that were in those shoes, you know, of the boys in Southern Baptist Sissies, and it just breaks your heart.
Yeah.
Because it's so unnecessary.
And just on a selfish and personal level, it was just such a joy and a pleasure to sit and stare up at you, at this beautiful woman as my mother.
Well, vice versa, you know, and if I had a son, I'd want him to be just like you, Emerson.
It was just such a pleasure and a joy, and we were so lucky to have you.
Oh,
yes, we were. And then we did this side of crazy, and we're never going to stop.
Yes.
I hope not.
Absolutely. Any excuse. You know our rule. Once you're in the family, you can't escape.
Oh, well, that's good to know. I don't want to.
Well, thank you so much for giving of your time and being with us tonight to support these theaters and to support the writer's search. It means so much to us.
Absolutely.
Thank
you.
you.
guys.
Love you. Say hi to David.
I sure will. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
We got all of these letters. So this is what we're not going to read them all, but and just today I opened my email and I got 3 more from last night. It's just wonderful when you share with us. This came to me. It says, "Dear Dell, you gave me a hug on Thursday night when I said I loved your play, but I'm nobody. I'm neither Southern Baptist nor sissy either. I was very moved from the humor to the poignant levels at which you took all the characters in all their various settings. This kind of craftsmanship doesn't just happen at the first barbecue. I am a straight little Jewish girl who felt the wrath of the town of people who didn't let me in the house to play with their children because I was going to hell. But what touched me most was the path each character took to find their self-esteem in a world that won't allow certain people to have any. Please consider me a member of your fan club."
We had a lot of great celebrities come and see Sissies during our 16-month run, and one of them had this to say: "The show had everything I love about life: beautiful messes with Southern accents, resurrection, redemption, tears, and hot as hell nudity. Hallelujah, signed Ruth Hall."
Oh, it's just such a great stroll down memory lane, Emerson Collins.
Yes.
I loved watching that clip of you and Luke, and I was thinking as I was watching it, and I think I've said this to you, but it truly is my favorite thing that I've ever directed of what I've written. I love the rawness, the pain, and a lot of people think that I allow ad-libbing.
Nope, none of that.
But I don't. All of that was scripted, and the way that you and Luke just overlapped, and it was just beautifully performed. And thank you for that performance. I so appreciate it. And Luke McClure, yes, your performance too. All the sissies. And let's not ever forget that it is a danger to do anything live with Willam Belli.
That is correct. You never know what you are going to get. I know, and y'all reading those letters, I mean, getting a letter from RuPaul, but it's the fan letters through the years, those that y'all read, that stack that you and Sharon held up of the letters you got.
It was a crazy time, and it's honestly, it still happens. I remember teaching last year at Northwestern State University, and I showed Sissies to my playwriting class, and someone wrote me one of those kind of letters, and because there's still so much of that hate. I mean, we hear it all the time. You and I report on these people. It's still going on. But back to the nudity for a second, because here's the deal. There was sort of a wave going on in gay theater of gratuitous nudity, and I really didn't want that to ever be. This play was. I wanted every nude scene, anything, to be organic and a part of the story.
Yeah.
And but at the Zephyr Theater, it's a small theater, and I remember especially on those Sunday nights where we called it gay night. We billed it like gay night, like every night wasn't. And we would open those doors, and the word got out where you could possibly, the worst seats in the house, the worst sight lines, they would rush just in case they could see some dick.
just that one seat in the corner where you couldn't. I know my favorite is you telling that story about Ted Detwiler turning around.
Yes, Ted. The first night, Ted, are you watching? I hate to embarrass you, but the first night that Ted went on, and like Tommy, he had invited all of his friends, and he got nervous and forgot the blocking and just turned right to the audience, and it was
pre-show. Well,
we all sang "Count Your Many Blessings." Name them one by one.
Yes.
Ted Detwiler flashed the audience.
And we didn't want to share any of the butt clips in this broadcast because YouTube and Facebook are very restrictive in what you can show, and we want this to live forever on the internet so people can watch it later. It's been about 10 minutes since our last donation. So to encourage that, y'all, I have just made live an exclusive video on the Del Shores Foundation website, delshoresfoundation.org, that is the butt scene from the movie, the never before seen butt scene from the 2002 production with, yes, Ted Detwiler and Bobbie Stevenson, and the hall stripper number with our stripper's ass on display. So if you haven't donated, go do that now. If you did donate, go back and watch that clip and maybe you'll be moved to donate again. We're up over $8,000 now.
Yes, and every sissy was contacted and gave us permission to
I
show
asked
them
Luke and Bobbie and Ted, and they all laughed and said, of course, anything to raise money for a good
anything for the Del Shores Foundation and for theaters.
All right, we are about 8 minutes away from Leslie Jordan, Ann Walker, and Dale Dickey. But up first, Will and Bella is Tina Turner, because of course.
There's something on my mind. Won't somebody please tell me what's wrong?
I'll tell you what's wrong. You're wild.
What you say?
And sometimes you say,
one more time.
You can't tell me about it. Why it treats you like you do when it's such a good man.
Listen, he got me smiling when I should be ashamed. Got me laughing when my heart is in pain. Oh no, I must be a fool, 'cause I'll do anything he wants me to. Now, cause
you know you're now.
Tell me one more time.
To live on this world. You take the good along with the bad. Sometimes you're happy and sometimes you sad.
One more time.
You know you love him. You can't understand why he treats you like he do when he's such a good man.
And listen, without the man, I don't want to live. You think I'm lying, but I'm telling you like it is. He got my love over and that's no lie. I'm gonna keep him satisfied.
You're just a fool. You know you're not.
Tell me one more
You
time.
got to face it to live on this world. You take the good along with the bad.
Tell me how come.
Sometimes you're happy and sometimes you're sad.
One more time.
You know you love him. You can't understand why he treats you like he do when he's such a good man.
Tell me. Tell me one more time. Hey. Tell me one more time.
All right, and now we are very excited to bring one of the Del Shores Foundation partners, but a theater company that is one of the closest to us and obviously the dearest to my heart. Please welcome to the show from Uptown Players, Jeff Rain and Craig Lynch. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Guys, good to see y'all.
Good to see you again.
Thank you so much for being with us. Now, you all did one of the very first productions of Southern Baptist Sissies. What made you decide to add it to your season before the play was even published?
Well, I think it was having done Sordid Lives in our very first season. We were familiar with Del's work. We knew that this was a new play that had been produced in a couple of other places, very few, and that it was received very well in the Southern Baptist regions of the country, I think, is the best way to put that. And so it fit perfectly with our mission statement. And it was at that point in time, we were in a very small black box theater, and it worked very well in the space that we had. And so we decided to reach out and get the rights and get the script and make it happen.
And of course, obviously, it's very special to me. I still remember those auditions and like all of us sitting there and going through the various boys. And for those who know that, of course, I played Mark in the movie. I played Benny originally in the Uptown productions. And Craig, I have some of your original artwork. Look.
Wow. Who are those children?
Look at those children. And of course, that's me as Shania Twain on the far right before it became Tina Turner in later productions and the movie. And there in the center, of course, is Del Shores with Carter Hudson, Kevin Moore, and Chad Peterson, our original Sissies, because Del, you came to see it.
I did come to see it. I remember, I love that theater so much. In fact, that's where your home was for a long time, and you did, I think you did Trailer Trash House Life at that theater as well.
Yes.
And I just remember how special the acting was and how beautiful the production was. And of course, I then stole Emerson Collins from you and have kept him ever since.
And Craig, like Delford and I, as the Baylor sissy, you know, I remember it being so intense for all of us emotionally, like sort of working through therapy as we put up this piece.
Yeah, so it was for me growing up Southern Baptist myself and going to Baylor. I was also dealing with my mother coming out to my mother and our religious issues with me coming out, and how that piece really hit home with me as far as my struggles with my religion. And it also gave me an outlet to not only show my emotion through that point, but also have some funny moments that were able to get me through the highs and lows of the piece. But it meant a lot to me. I know it meant a lot to our audiences in the region that were also struggling with their sexuality and how to deal with their parents and friends of coming out.
I remember it so well when afterwards, where we had that conversation, Craig, where you told me how you connected to the piece. And I've said it many times that when I wrote it, I wrote it for my own therapy. And I was just astounded as one after another, especially, and it really, Dallas was the one who, I mean, that was the city that I think it resonated most in. And of course it's set in Dallas at the fictitious Calvary Baptist Church. I'm sure there's a Calvary Baptist Church who is not taking credit.
Well, and of course, I think about how early that was in the Uptown Players journey, and here you are launching back out into the world, and you just did When Pigs Fly as a remount of the very first show you ever did. How many years ago?
20 years ago. This is our 20th season.
It is so incredible and so impressive to watch how you all have grown to be one of the preeminent regional theaters and one of the leading LGBTQ theaters. And of course, very excited to share that Dell's returning once again, imminently.
Imminently sounds like forever. I will be there for a little bit. I love working with you guys. You're always so amazing creatively and allowing me to do what I do. And we seem to have at least close to the same vision in casting and putting together a show. And now you're at Kalidas Humphreys, where I got to direct Yellow. And so I'm very, very excited. I mean, you don't know how disappointed I was that we had to delay this for so long because of the COVID situation. But hey, it's time, and we are back, and we are all going to be together again. So I'm very happy about that.
And what it is the world premiere of the play version of A Very Sordid Wedding.
There you go.
And look, y'all, if you are anywhere near Dallas, close to Dallas, or in the mood to grab your friends and take a road trip, it's running September 24th to October 3rd. Tickets are on sale now at uptownplayers.org. Y'all, you think about the madness the movie was for us of getting 32 actors. Well, there's 17 going to be on stage telling this story, all brand new for the first time.
Yes, multiple roles.
Yes, there will be a number of people who played several different roles throughout. So, they'll be backstage changing between characters and all that. It's a lot easier to do in a film where you can just stop tape and then redo, as opposed to having it be live for 2 hours.
Yeah, we were talking yesterday. I said, I don't know if it's going to be the play on stage or the play off stage is going to be more interesting
Right.
with this one. But I do have to say one thing. I am so excited that Alan Carroll, who was in that very first Sorted Lives production that y'all did, is returning as Sissy Hickey in this.
Yes.
And a huge company of brilliant Dallas actors. So seriously, y'all, if you're close by, get tickets, see A Very Sorted Wedding. And I just want to say a huge thank you to both of you for your friendship, for your leadership in the arts community. What you continue to accomplish is astounding and inspiring. And we're grateful to have you as partners of the foundation as well.
And I echo that. I'm so grateful for you allowing my work to be done on your stages so many times. And I just love you guys. Thank you so much for being here tonight too.
Of course.
Well, thank you, and thank you for everything you do with the foundation to help support other regional theaters.
It is our pleasure. Thank y'all.
The Bible is very clear, Mark. Leviticus 20:13. If a man also lie with mankind, you know what he lied with? The same book also says it's okay to buy slaves from nations around you. But no Baptist I know has purchased a good, strong Mexican or a strapping Canadian lately. Hell, Deuteronomy says the stone, stubborn, and rebellious sons at the gates of town. You can justify anything you want, Mark, but it does not make it right. Exactly. You can't argue with me, because I know everything you know and more. You are so righteous in your unrighteousness. I'm leaving the church. Yeah, walking right out that door today and never coming back. Never stepping foot in a Baptist church again.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna miss it.
The music, the hymns, the sweet old ladies, the covered dish fellowships. That feeling I get right here. So many good people, so many good intentions. But how do you embrace something that doesn't embrace you, TJ? How? How do you stop the hate that is spewed in the name of the Lord?
You are so lost, Mark.
Me? Well, yeah, to a degree, maybe I am. But someone has to fight for me. And it is my desire to find me, okay?
All right, well, we know you wanted to see more, so now we were back again with Leslie Jordan, and welcome to the very first Odette Annette Barnett, Miss Ann Walker.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, Ann.
Hi.
Y'all are together again.
Yes, we are.
Without
I've got
the
to watch
bar
him,
stool.
though. He could upstage me even now.
No, not as pretty as you look now.
Oh, you're so sweet.
You look beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
Have
Thank
you
you.
had a little work?
Long time ago. Long time ago.
No, you look really, really good, Anne.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, they said, you know, when we originated, when we started this journey together, I actually, a little trivia, I wrote this role of Odette for Sarah Hunley, who turned it down. And then I offered it to Dale Dickey, who got Christy, the series. And then I went to Ann and I said, Ann, please, please, I need you to do this role. And she was,
I was leaving. I was leaving. The end of the week, I was going with my daughter to Michigan because she was accepted into medical school. And so I was gonna, she'd already gotten married. And so I thought, well, I'll go with her. I'll help her settle in because she has to start school. You said, just come and read it. Just read in one of the rehearsals. We need you. We need you to just read it.
Just read it. And
Knowing full well that part, any actress who is worth a penny of her soul would say, holy shit, I'm not going anywhere. And you've always said to me, Delford, what have you said?
I said, always put your career above family, Ann Walker.
There you go. There you go. And I did then. And it turned out fine. She became a doctor.
It all
my
worked
hip.
out. And
Yes.
finally forgave you, but
Yes.
hasn't forgiven me, I don't think.
Probably not. She doesn't like you. No.
But we
But it
had
was
a
like,
journey
who
to get
would pass this fucking part up?
And
You couldn't-
Anne went on to win the LA Drama Critics Award for Best Supporting Actress, and nominated for an Ovation Award, and nominated for a Backstage Garland Award and LA Weekly. And
It's
just
not just it's not okay just to be nominated. You really want to friggin' win.
well, you won the big one. You won
I
LA
did.
Drama Critics. So
Yeah.
you both did.
And all of my little things are right above my head here, right over here.
I
Over
see.
there. All my little buses and my Ovation Award. My Ovation Award is up there, just above. But I got a bunch of little things up there.
Did you win
Nice.
the Ovation for Sissies?
Yes.
Oh wow! So you did all right. You
Yeah.
did okay.
But
Yeah.
what was that like for y'all building the comedy of these two characters for the first time?
Well,
It
it's
was-
just like ping pong. I mean, you know that if you throw that line her way, it's going to come back at me.
And
You know,
when you
bigger and
trust-
funnier and
yeah, when you trust somebody as much as Leslie and I, we had done shows before. We were, really had worked together many times. And anyway, it became our little play over on the side there.
It was like almost like your own little play.
Yeah.
And every night it was so interesting to me how all the drama and all the angst that the Sissies were going through. It was just like, and Leslie, you were so right to gift me with the idea of throwing in some comedy. And I knew I couldn't do it with the Sissies. And when I stumbled on Peanut and Odette, and Leslie, it was because you and I used to go to the Oasis together, that piano bar in the Valley, and we would see Peanut and Odette's there.
we would. I wish I remembered stuff. I've been told.
Me too.
I've been told I had a good time.
He remembers everything.
The Oasis.
The Oasis was that piano bar in the Valley on Ventura, and the pianist's name was Houston Allred, who just recently passed away, and we named him the character that Joe Pat played
After Houston.
after him. But you and I would just go there and gawk at people, and so that's where I came up with Peanut and Odette.
And I came up with, I would stick to the script as much as I could, but I did come up with member.
Yes.
Member.
Leslie, I say that in my life at
Remember.
all times to this day. Somebody says something, I go, member? They have no idea the reference.
Member?
I have heard people saying in movies and things, nurse, wanting another drink. Nurse. They have stolen that from us. They stole that.
But Anne, I want to ask you: Did he ever pull focus, or was it just always just a generous kind of?
She grabbed me halfway up the steps one time and said, "Whatever you're doing, cut it."
My friends, a bunch of my friends came one night to see the play, and I came off stage at the end, and we were down on the sidewalk away from everybody talking. And she, sotto voce, she says to me, "Do you know what he is doing over there during your big monologue? When you're looking for your damn brother?" And I said, "No, what is he doing?" She said, "He's putting on his Carmex or whatever, his lip stuff." And and then she said, then he takes a Kleenex out, waves that around, and then blots his lips. So the next night, I said to you, I said, "What the hell do you think you are doing out there when I'm having my moment?" He said, "Nothing. Nothing." I said, "Well, whatever it is, stop it."
I said, what am I supposed to do? Just sit there? And she goes, yes.
Yes.
Listen.
When I am speaking, when I am talking, yes.
Leslie,
I want everybody to see this. Look at y'all.
Oh my
Years ago.
Oh.
Now I know they had colored photos by then, but these black and whites make it seem like it was 1896.
Look at that.
Wow.
Those are great.
Yeah, I just think that audiences would actually return, and that you guys would get applauded, not on stage, but every scene. Every scene. When that segue.
Is it really been 20 years?
21.
Woo!
It's actually been 21.
Wow.
So,
my
word. I know. Lord.
Now, we had lines when we went away to Dallas to do it for a month. The boys would line up between Leslie and me. They wanted so much to tell us their stories, you know? And it was just so, we sold out before we even opened. It was amazing, amazing. The love and the how they could identify with all the boys, you know, and raised in the church and all like that.
Yes. Leslie, do you remember that day that you and I went to the theater and there was that one poor old protester there with a sign? And I said, I thought there'd be more. You said, oh, honey, Christians do not protest in the heat.
Y'all are giving me why that's credit. I'm not that clever.
No,
yes, you are. Well, Anne, we're going to trade you on. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. You know, and it's very special with the two of you, of course, being the head of the honorary board of the Del Shores Foundation. We are grateful for all you do, for the importance of this cause, and people to donate.
Yes, they should. And because it's going to support so many talented
Tiny
boys
theaters.
and girls.
You could give, you know, a couple of $100 to one of these big theaters, and it would go into their fund and everything. Honey, this could keep the lights on. You know, this could keep the door unlocked. $100 here or there or something. So everybody,
we hope you will contribute, because it'll go to a really, really good cause.
Yes, and thank you for those of you who have already contributed.
Yes.
Thank you, Anne.
We love you, Anne Walker.
Thank you. I love you guys.
All right.
Not now, Anne Walker, not ever. What was that?
Oh,
it's not now, not ever.
We cannot tell that story here.
Not now, Anne Walker, not ever.
Something's got to be saved for the family reunion. But of course,
we're going to have to speculate that.
Anne Walker then passed the role of Odette Annette Barnett to one of our favorite members of the greater Del Shores family. Please welcome to our show an incredible actress, a dear friend, Miss Dale Dickey. Hi, Dale.
Y'all still make me laugh so fucking much. Excuse me.
Well, are you in Australia or are you home? Are you
Honey, I'm in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
She's just going from one job to another like you, the two of you.
I know.
Nonstop
I'm
work.
very grateful. Very, very grateful.
Dale, I have to say that not only with this role of Odette were you so inspirational to so many people, but I feel like that, you know, when I teach acting, my students single you out so many times as someone who inspires them as an amazing artist and actress. And I think Leslie, having got to sit across from you and again with that ping pong going back and forth, and in the movie, we love you, and we're so grateful that you have contributed to our storytelling.
Thank you.
I think about how many times y'all did this. 2002, the revival, the movie. I mean, we just kept dragging y'all back out.
Well, I know in the original version, I understudied the lovely Miss Walker in the 2001 incarnation. And I can remember Anne calling me to ask if I could fill in for her one weekend. And I'd had a death in my family and I couldn't. And anyway, I did go on for her a couple of times, but then I took over the role, I think, in the 2002 incarnation.
Right.
And then 2006, the revival, the tour, and then the movie.
Yes. And well, we had.
And I would sit there every night. You had that monologue, and you were letter perfect. You know, I tend to wander and try to stay on book much as I can, but you were just letter perfect.
Leslie, all I had to do was just sit there and watch you. You know, it was like We would add 15 minutes to the show because you were so friggin' funny. I loved it. Nothing better than sitting across a bar stool from you.
We didn't talk about this, but remember when we shot the movie and we had our dear friend and brilliant actress Rachel Sorsa work to keep everybody on book and to help with the lines. And at the end of the rehearsals of the play part of shooting the movie, she would give out line notes. Y'all remember the time that she said, and Dale, Dickey, and Emerson were word perfect. And Leslie Jordan turned and said, well, some of us have other talents.
Y'all just like this stuff.
No, that is not. He didn't make that up. That is true.
I'm not that clever.
You are.
You are. Yes, you are.
You just don't remember how clever you are.
Oh
Look
my
at
God.
Or Preston Leroy.
Dale, where did we get those shirts for him? Those kind of big fake Gucci.
They were fake Versace.
Versace.
I remember, I believe our original costumer was Tim Lydeen, and he came up with that concept and brought them in, and we thought, oh, that's so perfect. Because it just
I still see him driving around that big Cadillac. He's got it's about
I think Odette's costumes just came from all the stripper shops on Hollywood Boulevard.
That seems right. But Dale, you know, watching the two of you work, you know, for all of us as the actors in every version of this, the genius of the two of you with comedy, and then being able to turn for that buddy monologue and for that don't become me moment. You know, Dale, watching you do that every night and preparing yourself for that, what was that journey for you? Yeah, because that's what it looked like.
Well, I can remember one night I came off stage and I just collapsed like after one of the scenes. And Dell walks over and goes, "Oh, honey, it's just a play." And I said, "Well, you wrote it. You want me to do it right?"
I did it. I remember doing that more than once where I go, look at me, it's over. It's over. Because Dale would so immerse herself into that character. And I have to say that, you know, and I talk about how sometimes silent moments are the most powerful. And I remember when Dale finished that monologue and she took that last drip like a good alcoholic does and slugged every bit of it down and then walked across that stage and touched Andrew's face. It was a devastating moment for all of us, and no words, not one word. And then that's when you walked off stage.
And I was just trying to remember all the different Andrews I worked with, and they were all so beautiful and so lovely. And my whole experience over all the years that we did this show are so beautiful. And you know, Leslie, I thought I'd heard every story you had backstage, but then I would go to see your one-man shows, and I was like, "Well, I never heard that story." You know, it was a joy. It was wonderful. You know, I think the first time I took over Odette in 2002, I got to be honest, I was still grieving some personal things in my life. So it was kind of a cathartic thing for me, which I don't usually like to use, but it was very close to home in a lot of ways for me. And the laughter and the joy made it really glorious for me.
And my favorite memory is just peeking through the crack trying to see Ted Detwiler's butt.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly.
I can remember.
We did do a little math because you brought up how many Andrews. Well, Emerson and I did a little math together. How many sissies did Leslie Jordan perform with on stage? Leslie, you want to guess? How many total?
How many?
21.
21 sissies.
21 over the years.
Wow.
Who was the very first redhead kid?
Sam Conkey, and then Rich D'Elia.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Matthew
Montgomery, and then of course Tommy Woelfel was also an Andrew.
Chris Pudlow did Andrew one night.
That's right. Chris Pudlow.
Who did Andrew one night?
Chris Pudlow.
Chris
Pudlow.
I love him.
Yes. But wait, y'all, one of my favorite stories in the entirety of all of my life with all of you and Del Shores and the wider Shores family happened during the season of Shores of Southern Baptist Sissies. Because Leslie Jordan, you won that Emmy for Will and Grace while we were doing a season of Shores. And do you remember what you did?
I carried it on stage and I put it down.
His very first performance back, he made his first entrance as Peanut, carrying that little purse under one arm, that big ass Emmy in one hand, and he set it on the piano. Y'all, that 99 seat theater,
you didn't break that night, though.
And laughed for a solid minute. We cheered in celebration of that big win.
Oh, he got a standing ovation. And when he walked on with that Emmy, the audience stood to their feet. And finally, after it all died down, Dale, what did you say?
Something like, well, I wish I'd brought my bowling trophy.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were bringing trophies from bowling because that's what Odette would have had.
Yeah, she
But
thought
can I tell my one? Oh, I have several favorite stories, but one of them is, I'm pretty sure it was the 2006 revival where I was in all three plays, and I would only know what play we were doing. I'd show up that night, and by whatever props were on, like if it was pimento cheese, we were doing Sissies. If it was apple pie, we were doing Sorted Lives. If it was Fritos, we were doing Trailer Trash.
Yeah.
So you, Leslie, you were off on a job, and one of your understudies was on, and I think it was Jim J. Bullitt. And he could not remember how to say Odette Annette Barnett. And he kept messing up my name. He would go Colette, Coulette, Catrilette. And I got so pissed. I was like, okay, you don't remember my name. I'm going to start calling you like Pistachio or Walnut. And one night on stage, it's that real drunk scene where we're real drunk. And I said, you ever pray anymore, Walnut? And then when you came back to the show, everybody dared me to do it to you without saying anything. And I can't believe I did it. You ran off the stage and called Dale and went, Dale Dickey just called me Walnut on stage and across the house down.
And it went into the published version.
Yes, because by the time I arrived, that was the line. I didn't even know that that's how that happened.
You didn't know the history of Walnut.
No.
Do you remember Glenn Shaddix? Didn't he understudy? He's no longer with us. He understudied. Didn't Glenn understudy?
Yeah,
I remember.
He did.
I remember Gary Ballard.
But I believe Glenn did the shows with Ann Walker.
Oh, Glenn Shaddix.
In for many shows.
My,
when you were off after you won that Emmy, I mean, you know, you were off doing something.
Got so busy.
Well,
I'm busy.
I'm busy.
I told my
you know, my husband Steve
I'm
has
busy.
my husband Steve has like literally a photographic memory. He can remember lines and things from stuff. I have no idea what he's talking about. It's crazy. But when he would run lines with me and he would try to do you, it was just not the same. he tried real hard. But wait, one of my favorite stories, and Leslie, I don't know if you remember this, it was when we were on tour and we were in St. Louis, okay? And it was the friggin' World Series baseball game.
Yeah.
And they were playing like right down the street.
Blocks away.
We're in the theater, and it happened to be the big scene where I'm talking about Buddy, that long monologue where I'm so sad. And I'm trying to be emotional and dramatic and talking about Buddy. And all of a sudden, I start hearing people in the audience going, yeah, yeah. And then outside, woo, and cars.
The city erupted.
They had just won, World Series.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is my moment.
And we lost our shirts during the World Series there for that tour. We talked about everybody's awards, and I want to say something about Dale Dickey. When we did Season of Shores, when we did that revival, Dale had already won Best Supporting Actress, I believe. Or no. You the first time around, since it was a revival, it wasn't eligible. But then when we did an official revival in 2006, and you did Sissy, and you did Raylene in Trailer Trash, and then you did Odette, you were nominated for 3 Ovation Awards the same year, and you won 2 of them. This one of them was for Odette for Best Supporting Actress, and then for the ensemble of Trailer Trash House.
Yeah, that was
And I
really
called
wonderful.
Leslie wasn't able to go to the ovations, and I called him and I said, "You didn't win." He goes, "Well, I have an Emmy."
Why would I not been able to go? I was out of town or something.
Well, you had already won also. You'd already won for Peanut, but that you were up for Brother Boy. You were nominated for supporting for Brother Boy and for Sordid Lives, and you would go, I have an Emmy. And you have
All right. Well, y'all, I have to say, you know, as an actor, as a producer, one of the great honors of my life will be having watched the two of you work in person, on stage as an actor, in the editing room, on your work. You have the greatest geniuses and most wonderful people. And the work that you have done has impacted so many lives. The journey of these two characters and what they say, the lessons people have learned from them continues to have impact. We get letters all the time about your work and this piece. And I just feel so grateful to have seen it happen so many times.
I would like to echo that. I've said it to you personally, but I will say it to you. It makes me emotional because you are two of my dearest friends. My life and my career is so much better because of the two of you. And I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for writing those words for us to speak.
Absolutely. And I gotta say, in this business, you so much of it is just entertainment and making people laugh, which is important, but also making people think or reimagine their lives. And I feel very proud that I've been able to be a part of Dell, of your storytelling, and Leslie, working with you, where we really have seen us make an impact on a lot of people's lives and making some change and hopefully bringing some progressiveness in the world of love and peace and stained glass window, all of us being together. That's what I hold in my heart.
And let's not lose sight of this night that we're doing this because we all started in the theater, and we are supporting 26 nonprofit theaters tonight, helping them because everybody got hit so hard during this pandemic. And we are also launching our writers contest so that people like Leslie and myself who actually do tell stories in the South can tell their stories, and we can help them get their stories produced and get to see the light of day. So thank you.
So please give what you can.
Yes.
As Leslie has said, get out your pocketbooks.
Get out your pocketbooks.
He's got his little, wait, look, I can do Leslie right now. Let's see.
Yes.
It's Carmex.
That's right. Thank y'all.
We love you.
Love you. Thank you.
Bye-bye. I looked in the mirror tonight. I just about screamed.
You ought to change all the light bulbs out in your house to surprise pink. I once knew this old stripper named Mitchie. Or was it Wavon? I do remember this other mother-daughter stripping team called the Jugs.
Oh.
That's a whole different story. Tragic. Anyway, Mitzi owned this strip joint called the Booby Hatch. And when she got a little long in the tooth, she just moved back to first row of tables, changed all the light bulbs in the establishment to surprise pink, and that extended her stripping career by 10 years. Distance and darkness, honey. It's a girl's best friend. That's my motto, Peanut.
Are you sure you're not a lesbian? I mean, hanging out in them titty bars.
I wasn't hanging out in no titty bars. Shit. I used to cocktail over at the Booby Hatch. Before an unfortunate incident I'd rather not discuss cut short my career there. I don't much care for lesbians.
Oh, no, ma'am, they scare me. You know, some of them is borderline mean. You know what I always say? A woman ought to act like a woman. A man can act like a woman if he wants.
Oh, and we're still laughing.
We are.
I told you this was going to go long, Emerson Collins. If we got everybody back together, we just can't, memory lane.
Everyone we know can talk, and we are not complaining. Look, he said Sissies of Arabia, but y'all, it is for a great cause. We are up over $9,000 right now from over 92 individual donations. And we meant what we said. Give according to your means. If your means are small, share the broadcast after it's done. Share it with your friends. If your means are large, however, give accordingly as well. If we get to 10,000, we can write a $200 check to each theater, and we will continue raising money through this week.
I was thinking, Emerson, how, it was this like worth the admission of a theater ticket, wherever you are, a theater ticket. And y'all, I just want to say thank you to everybody who came together tonight. Nobody wanted a fee. Nobody, So everybody donated their time and their memory. Anyway, yeah, and we've enjoyed your comments, especially those who say keep giving to theater, we love theater, and all the great quotes.
And I will tell y'all, because of the foundation, we get an email with every single donation. So we see each of your names, so many friends and fans and family, and so many of these actors who have already given of their time and everything donating. We really changed the lives of LGBTQ plus writers and all of these theaters. And did some of y'all go watch the Butts clip on the website? I want to know.
Yes, we want to know. We want to share that in the comments. Emerson, I want to talk about something. I want to talk about a stained glass window because it became such a big part of Southern Baptist Sissies. And I loved so much Benny's monologue and the rage that Mark felt and him, oh, please, when Benny had that philosophy that we're all just a part of a stained glass window. But I sometimes when I get on Twitter and I get mad at somebody, I think, no, we're a part of a stained glass window, Dale Shores. And you wrote that. You
did. You gave us the words. And of course, y'all, there is one member of the Sissies family, obviously we have not yet gotten to. So I think it's time to bring on our benediction and this final member of our family.
Absolutely.
Y'all stick around. We'll be back right after. You like our stained glass window border?
You did that. That was very. Did you do that?
Thematically relevant.
Where do I put this fire? Where do I put this burning, raging fire of anger inside of me? Who the fuck do I lash out at? Oh, I need to lash out. I need to blame someone.
Oh, Mark has a column now. Who the fuck do I lash out at? Mother, preacher, God. I need to lash out. I need to blame someone. Very hostile, very angry. That boy will die trying to change the world, bless his precious little heart. But perhaps the world is exactly the way it should be. Perhaps we are all right. The fags, the Baptists, the Muslims, the Buddhists, the Jews, the Republicans. You see, I've been doing some thinking myself. Could it be that this life, this existence is like a beautiful stained glass window? And our beliefs, their beliefs, everybody's beliefs, our makeup, our skin color, our sexual orientation is right. And that God is the light that shines through that stained glass window.
And all the colors, all the beauty is created because of our differences.
Oh, please. What about Matthew Shepard? But what about Andrew? Were they part of some beautiful stained glass God backlit window? Yeah, that makes perfect sense. What a fucking crock of shit.
Well, think about it. It makes sense. And even if it doesn't, it gets me through life. And I'm happy. I'm very, very happy.
You're not fucking happy. You just hide out in a club under makeup and dresses and songs. You don't know who the fuck you are because you're always pretending to be someone else. At least I'm trying to figure this out. At least I'm striving for honest, real happiness in a real world. And I'm not fucking happy, but I'm not living behind some fucking drag queen facade either.
All right, well, as we get close to the end of this incredible evening, thank you for your contributions, but we have to end this show the way we ended so many performances and the movie, with the Tony-winning artists who performed the theme song. Please welcome to our broadcast, Levi Kreiss.
Hey! Hello, hello.
Hi, Levi.
What a fun occasion. I'm so happy to be here. I can't believe it's 21 years.
I know. What a journey for us as friends that met in those pews, basically. They were really theater seats, but we call them pews. At Zephyr Theater. I was reminded, just thinking about you, and we've had such a great journey together. But would you share how we met?
Oh gosh, yes. It just you saying the Zephyr Theater on Melrose Avenue, that whole thing just brings it all back for me. I was walking down Melrose Avenue one evening with a few friends of mine, transplants, from the South. All of us recently moved to Los Angeles, and I was walking by the Zephyr of this theater, and there was this billboard of this guy with his arms outstretched and his head tilted down like Jesus Christ, and wearing nothing but briefs. And the text said Southern Baptist Sissies, and I was shocked to the core. I was like the ex-conversion therapy guy who still kind of felt a little too a little too fond of some of those old weird beliefs, was like, I'm not comfortable with this. And of course, my girl Tanya was like, come on, y'all. I know the guy who wrote it and directed it, and I want us to go in there and see it. Let's just do it tonight. He'll let us in. And all of a sudden, I'm being ushered into this experience of, I had no idea what I was in for. But given my history, 6 years of conversion therapy, dealing with the church, the religion versus sexuality that we're all speaking about, what all the boys that spoke about earlier. It's the first time that I had seen open conversation about this topic ever in my life. I mean, the closest I ever got to it was the support group in the Exodus International that I started being a part of, like, my year 6. So, like, the fact that it was already starting that conversation straight out the gate with Mark coming out, I was like, what the, I mean, by intermission, I was in a fetal position, like gut hurting, sobbing, like what the fuck did I just see? And
I was sitting behind you, which was so crazy. It was meant to be. Sharon Lane, who our wonderful producing
Sharon,
was sitting right by. We lost and we love, and she loves Sissy so much. And you fled. I just remember you just fleeing the theater, and she said, "I think we lost that one. I think we've lost that one." And then you came back and you turned around.
Act 2.
You came back for Act 2 and you turned around and
I asked, I think I before it was Act 2, I turned around to you and I was like, do you like this play? And you're like, well, I'm the writer.
I like it. And I think you said it's hitting a little too close to home.
Yes.
For me.
Yes.
And then so the lights go down, and I mean, Act 1 was nothing compared to Act 2. And Sharon leaned over and she said, we're going to have to scrape that one off the floor by the end of the show. And then we met afterwards. And,
yeah. And then afterwards, I guess my girlfriend Tanya said, hey, well, this kid's got a show next week. You should come in here and sing. So you came
with
Sharon to a live performance.
Sharon was going, I don't care if he's not any good. He's so cute. Let's just go see him. And so we went, and you blew our minds with your performance. And you sang a song that night. You just sat on the edge of a stairs.
Find
Me. Find Me. You said, and we thought that is so thematically right for this show. And we had a brief little mini conversation. We said, if you want to come back anytime to the show, see it and sing at the end of it, you may. And you did so many times. And you and I became such good friends.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good piece of Southern Baptist Sissies trivia too, because people know that, you know, I get to know you. I become friends. I was house sitting for you one weekend, started playing around on your piano with Benny's monologue and came up with the melody of the words to Stained Glass Window, which became the, like, you know, a theme song for the show that I got to sing every night. But a lot of people don't know that it started with Find Me.
It started with Find Me, and then when you composed Stained Glass Window, then we replaced it. You went on tour with us. You played the Go-Go Boy for a while.
I did.
Oh, that was important.
You let me reprise that role.
Yeah, in fact, to figure, before you get to this number, we could use a little bit of that. You know, that's a lovely Pride Stained Glass Window shirt, but if you took it off, I don't think the audience would mind.
Oh, no. Only if it results in purchases.
Correct. Go to LeviKreis.com for purchases.
Yeah.
And by the time I joined it, you were singing the song after the show every night. So for all of my life with Southern Baptist Sissies, the show doesn't end until you walked out and sang this song that summarizes the theme of the show, the pain of the show, the joy of the show so beautifully.
Yeah, and I tell you, it feels like it's just the song, the monologue, the play that keeps on giving, because you look at some of the lyrics that made their way into the song from Benny's monologue, and you look at what our current state is and our ability to, and our ability to remind ourselves, like, well, you know, this stands for, you know, you're crimson red, I'm ocean blue. We're two of many colors in a stained glass window, and love is the light that's shining through. I mean, that's a message that we need more now, I think, even than when we did this back then. If we can really learn to love each other despite our skin color, despite our sexuality, despite our differences. That's why this song is the gift that keeps on giving for that, because it's more relevant now than it was then.
Absolutely. And as good as you are with your words, Pastor Kreis, you're even better in song. So would you please bring us home? This will be our benediction. And for you watching at home, think of this as the time to pass the offering plate. So if you have not made your contribution yet, if you have not made a donation, please go to delshoresfoundation.org as we pass the plate and hand it over to Brother Kreis. Stained Glass Window.
Thank you, Levi.
Thank you. There's a rage way down inside me, a fire that's branded my soul, and it leaves me as one of the many, with a hate so hard to control. Oh, but I see that it is not the answer. There's a time when we all must decide to step on up with wisdom and power and say, children, let's give up the fight. Consider this from a moment or two, I'm crimson red. You are awesome blue. We're just two of many colors in a stained glass window. And love is the light shining through. Ooh. Oh, now you can't find an explanation to demold my position with a guide. Oh, but I've discovered a divine resolution. Oh, Lord, I'm embraced by the light of His love. Oh, consider this for a moment or two. I'm crimson red, and you are oh so blue. We just too many colors in a stained glass window. And love is the light shining through. So love is the light shining through. Love is the light that is shining. Oh, love is the light that's shining through.
When we did our first run of the play, and we celebrated our 100th show, Del was in Australia directing the movie, and he couldn't be with us. But he sent us this beautiful note, and I want to share this with you. It really means a lot. This play, oh this play, how it has healed my wounded heart and soul. There is a picture of me at my house and on Sharon's nightstand that I gave to her on opening night, and I'd like to share it with you. So, a stocky little freckle-faced 9-year-old Texan in a black and white checkered sport jacket that his mama made, with a smile, a vivid imagination, and a real big secret. The boy who thought too much of life and such, whose mind was confused, his tender, young, innocent heart abused by him. I feel like this play has helped me to find that boy, that Southern Baptist sissy, and allowed me to wrap my arms around him and say, "You're okay, Delford Shores, just the way you are."
All right. I had to go put on my stained glass window shirt after that.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, that was Sharon Lane. And I just want to talk about her for just a second because she had so much to do with this play and had so much to do with my life. And I wouldn't have finished this play if Sharon hadn't told me I had to finish the play. And I just want to express my gratitude in her memory. And I'd like to read something from the playbook. And she said, "To me, this play is so much more than a story about growing up in the church. It is a story about growing up feeling different. Whether our differences come in the form of gender, sexual orientation, appearance, or just a feeling deep inside, this play is dedicated to those things that make us unique. Learn to embrace and love those differences. They are what make you special. And respect and cherish those differences in others. There is much to be learned from one another." Sharon Lane. So, still giving us a message that I think we really need today. So.
Yeah. I think about what Sharon and you did and what you accomplished with this play. Also, I don't think I've ever once listened to Levi sing that song and not thought how well that captures the pain and the hope that you put into this play, that we put into, sorry y'all, to every production. I think of the boys that we were. I think of the kids that are still there, the kids that we're working to help with this foundation. I think all of us together we do make something beautiful that you captured so beautifully in this, that he captured in that song, that we are doing again together tonight. And now I'm a mess.
That's okay. I just want to say, Emerson, that first of all, thank you for all the work you've put into this. My God, as always, you organized everything and you brought us all together. But I want to challenge anybody who's watching tonight and anybody who wants to share this. As Sharon told me, you have to finish your play. You have to tell your story. And I was so scared to tell this story. But don't be scared to tell your story. We got stories to tell. All of our, everybody who's a writer, everybody who wants to be a writer, know that that's why the Del Shores Foundation exists, because we want to help you tell your story. So yeah, you have time right now to start writing. And you know, if you're a Southern queer artist, submit your story, please.
Yes. All right, well, we have the benediction. Now's that awkward part where people start heading for the door because they want to be the first one in the buffet line at Golden Corral. But we want to thank a few people before we go.
Yes, we do. Kathy O'Donoghue, once again, your lighting, so brilliant. All of the board at the Del Shores Foundation, we have a magical board. We love you so much. Thank you for coming together. The universe conspired to bring us all together, and they got the word out about tonight. They donated more even tonight. So many of you are you all are so near and dear to my hearts and part of my family. And I just want to thank all the sissies and everybody that supported Southern Baptist Sissies for the past 20 plus years. Thank you so much.
And of course, tonight we share the actors because they're the faces, you know, but all of the crews that worked on all of the stage productions, our phenomenal film crew led by our DP, Nicholas Rossi, and our incredible editor, producer, one-person post-production life partner, Donna Mathewson, and our technical producer tonight, who you aren't seeing, but I can wave at, Emily Nominson,
Thank you, Emily.
Brian Gelden, and our incredible Del Shores Foundation assistant to the executive director, Tanya Judenet. All of you, we are a village, we all do it together.
Allison Stewart, thank you. Y'all we're going to complete this night, but y'all continue to give as you share this video, the finished product, far and wide, share it so that we can donate to these theaters and launch our writers contest. Thank you so much. Emerson, you got some numbers for us?
Yes, we are so close to $10,000. We are at 97 individual contributors. Our new Ambassador Circle members right now include Arthur Jackson, John Pafford, Bob Bielenberg, Steve Sherrill, Latricia Zaitoon, and Kathy O'Donoghue. And our 250 and up club, David Kernahan, Dennis Gilmore, Teresa Richardson, Rosemary and Newell, as if they haven't done enough, Kishore Lakshmanarian, Alan Bell, Rich Wiseman, John Brumfield, Joe Crooks, Larry Parsons, and Charles Benjamin Bartley. We meant what we said. Every donation size matters. To me, the most important one is the number of people. When the broadcast finished, you can share it anywhere and everywhere. It will be up forever. If your friends haven't seen the movie, make them watch the movie.
Y'all, finally, it is so important for us to support theater. Theater is important. We get to share our stories. We get to share our lives. We get to entertain. We get to make people laugh or hopefully think, and sometimes shed a tear or two. And I just appreciate all of you who are involved already in the Del Shores Foundation, all these new ambassadors. That makes me so happy. So many of you I know, and I thank you, Trish and Kishore, and my students, and so many came together tonight. So thank you. And here we are going to launch new storytellers. So thank you.
Yes.
And all right, we've got one last little clip for you, and we're going to send you out with a montage. Like, I've loved these montages you put together, Emerson, where it evolved over the years, and we have one more, Whispering Hope.
And if you've never seen the film, stream it. And if you have and know someone who might still need the message of this piece, share it.
And we keep moving forward. And one last time, Emerson, what's the final line from this play and movie?
But now, with hope.
Thank you. and good night.
Sometimes I close my eyes. Sometimes I close my eyes. Sometimes I close my eyes. And I create a perfect world. A world of acceptance and understanding and love. A world where there is hope. Even if the hope is just whispered, I hear it.
Soft as the voice of an angel, breathing on a summer bird.
And I dream that one day I'll open my eyes. That world will still be there.
Mark. I woke up in his arms, Mark. When I woke up this time, he was still there, that man in my bed, holding me. It was God, Mark.
He kept trying to tell me down here, but I couldn't understand, not with all the clutter. You're okay, Andrew. Just the way you are.
I'll take care of you. God does love me, Mark. Listen to me, Mark. God loves you. The real God. Listen.
Wait till the darkness is over.
Listen. For the hope.
Till the tempest is done. Hope for the sunshine tomorrow. After the shower is gone.
A world where the lonely are no longer lonely, where everyone is welcome.
Stirring home. Oh, how welcome thy
A world where sermons preach about truth, about love and hope.
Dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God. Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. 1 John 4:7 and 8.
A world where mothers and fathers accept, embrace, and love every single part of their children. A world where I can love and he can love.
Why should the heart sink away when the dark midnight is over?
I love you. I love you.
But I always wake up. But now, with hope